My girlfriend betrayed me, so I married her sister instead. Su Chen was attending a birthday party for a rich classmate, and saw his girlfriend kissing another man in the woods. He thought that was it, but he didn't expect that his girlfriend chased him because it was a punishment for losing a game. From the beginning, he was a joke. Unexpectedly, a beautiful rich woman came to Su Chen and said she wanted to marry him. Later, Su Chen found out that the rich woman was not only the half-sister of his ex-girlfriend, but also fell in love with him at first sight. After marriage, the rich woman spoiled him lawless. As for the ex-girlfriend, a good horse never turns back, go wherever it's cool. Chapter 1, After Graduation, What Comes Next? Su Chen, graduation is just around the corner. Have you decided on your career path? Su Chen was sitting at his desk, typing his job application on his old second-hand laptop. I've decided I'm going back to my hometown. His roommate was taken aback. Are you sure? If you stay in the capital, your starting salary will be at least 300,000, and it will only go up from there. But you're going back to your small county? What are you thinking? Over the past few months, many companies had extended offers to Su Chen, but he turned them all down. My parents are getting old, and my dad is often sick. I have 3 younger brothers. Second is in middle school, and the third and fourth are still in elementary school. Thinking about his family, Su Chen felt a sense of helplessness. What else can I do but go back? His roommate, initially confused, now felt sympathy after hearing this. Su Chen's family situation was well known among their dorm. They all knew how difficult things were for him. What about Mu Xiaoxue? His roommate asked, walking up to Su Chen and patting him on the shoulder. She's from a rich family. Is she really willing to follow you back and live a tough life? You have to be mentally prepared, Su Chen. At the beginning, they had all advised Su Chen not to accept Mu Xiaoxue's pursuit. After all, the gap between them was huge. She was the pampered daughter of a wealthy family, while he was just a poor boy from the mountains. Knowing that his roommate meant well and didn't he have any ill intentions, Su Chen wasn't he upset. Xiaoxue is different from those other rich girls. She said she's willing to come with me. We'll save money and buy a house in the county, and bring my parents and brothers over. His roommate shook his head. Su Chen continued filling out the application. A few days ago, he called the local hydropower station, and they were hiring. They were looking for someone with AI skills, and they were happy to have him on board. The job was stable, and without including any bonuses, it paid 12,000 a month. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough. Su Chen was planning to rent a house in the county for a couple of years, save up, and eventually buy a bigger home. Things would get better slowly. Just as he was finishing the application, his 3 roommates returned from shopping for clothes. One of them placed 2 shopping bags on Su Chen's desk. Su Chen, I bought this at a store that was buy one get one free. I got you a set too. It wasn't really a buy one get one free deal. His roommates often used that excuse when giving him things. Su Chen couldn't help but feel helpless but accepted their kindness. Thanks, he said with a bitter smile. When I get back to my hometown, I'll send you some local specialties. Another roommate urged, come on, we've been living together for almost 4 years, no need for that. Let us change clothes quickly, we have to take the bus to Xiao's place. It's far, we can't be late. Today was their classmate Xiao's birthday. Xiao was throwing a party at his house and invited many classmates. Su Chen wasn't really excited to go. He didn't feel like that kind of gathering was his place. But yesterday, Mu Xiaoxue insisted that he go and promised there would be a surprise for him. Since it was his girlfriend's request, Su Chen had to agree. The clothes his roommates bought for him were a white top with black pants set, and a pair of black and white dad shoes. It was simple, clean, and casual. I knew this outfit would look good on you, Su Chen. Definitely looks good. Su Chen, come here, let me fix your hair. Su Chen couldn't refuse their enthusiasm, so he let them dress him up like a puppet. One of his roommates joked, I heard that kind of party is full of rich women. You look so handsome, aren't you afraid a rich woman might fall for you? After all, you have a girlfriend. Everyone knew that Mu Xiaoxue was Su Chen's girlfriend. It wasn't because Su Chen was famous, but because Mu Xiaoxue had pursued him so publicly. Even if they fall for him, what can they do? Can they just force him into a relationship? While his roommates joked around, Su Chen was caught between them, heading toward the bus stop outside the school. Huashao's villa was far from the school, and taxis in the capital were too expensive. They planned to take the bus for a while and then grab a taxi for the rest of the way. Su Chen stared out the bus window. This city was beautiful, and even the air seemed to be filled with the scent of money. He sometimes wondered, if he stayed here, his future would definitely be different. Bored on the bus, his roommates started talking about Huashao. I heard Huashao is not only having a birthday party today but also planning to confess to the girl he likes. I heard that too, but it's nothing special. Huashao changes girlfriends as often as he changes clothes. This time is different. He is confessing in front of so many people, so he must be serious. Do you think Huashao doesn't he like men? I'd be okay with it. Shut up. You're willing to do anything for money, huh? Su Chen just listened to them chat without interrupting. After about an hour on the bus, they finally took a taxi to Huashao's villa. This was Su Chen's first time visiting such a luxurious place. Hearing his roommate's small exclamations, he followed them in, feeling somewhat out of place. Su Chen, what if a rich woman falls for you? His best friend whispered in his ear, then gestured for him to look up at the second-floor terrace of the villa. Look, there's a beautiful woman watching you. A sly smile spread across his friend's face. Following his friend's gaze, Su Chen locked eyes with the beautiful woman his friend had mentioned. The woman was curvaceous, with a flawless face framed by waves of black hair. She wore a deep V mermaid gown, and her eyes glimmered with an alluring charm. Her lips curled in a playful smile, and it almost felt like she was a seductress, pulling him in. She slowly swirled a wine glass in her hand, exuding maturity and flirtation. The party was being held outside the villa, so they didn't go inside. There were all kinds of delicate pastries on the table. Su Chen picked up a small cake. From afar, he spotted Mu Xiexue. Tonight, she was wearing a short strapless dress, her hair elegantly styled, looking like a fairy that had descended to the mortal world. Su Chen picked up a fork and walked toward her. But Mu Xiexue didn't seem to notice him. She checked her phone, and a faint blush spread across her face as she walked toward a quiet, secluded grove. Chapter 2, Cheated on, he felt like a fool. Su Chen couldn't quite understand why there was a small grove in the villa. Maybe it was necessary for some reason. He thought Mu Xiexue must have gone to find her friends, so he decided to sit down and wait for her to return before eating the cake. You're Xiexue's boyfriend. A strange voice came from above. Su Chen, holding his cake and looking down, looked up. Standing in front of him were three young women, all dressed fashionably and looking exquisite, with figures that were the envy of many. I am, Su Chen said politely. Is there something you need? The way the three women looked at him made him feel uncomfortable. But since they were probably friends of Xiexue, Su Chen said nothing. So it's really him. The three of them didn't hide their mocking smiles. I really don't know what Xiexue sees in him. Just being good-looking doesn't mean anything. He probably can't even take out 100 yuan from his pocket. With her personality, she is probably just having a little fling with him. Even though young Master Hua has been pursuing Xiexue for years and she hasn't accepted him, she still invited him to the party. That is generous. Su Chen frowned deeply. He stood up, preparing to move to another spot. Don't go. One of the girls quickly ran in front of him, blocking his way with a look of amusement. You haven't heard, have you? Young Master Hua is going to confess to Xiexue tonight. The words were like thunder in Su Chen's mind. Our wealthy families are all about matching social status. Another girl stepped forward, her eyes full of disdain. You're just a poor kid from the mountains. Even if Xiexue wants to marry you, do you think her family will approve? We're just kindly warning you, don't be ungrateful. The three girls came over to mock him deliberately, and only left after seeing the anger on Su Chen's face. Su Chen lowered his head and stared at the small cake in his hand, his thoughts drifting away. It felt like everyone in the world kept telling him that he wasn't suited for Mu Xiexue, that they were from different worlds. Knock. 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 The sound of high heels clicking on the floor brought Su Chen back to his senses, and the sweet smell of perfume filled his nostrils. Would you like a drink? Suddenly, a wine glass appeared in front of him, making him freeze. The hand holding the glass was elegant, with long, delicate fingers and nails painted in a soft, seductive pink color. Su Chen followed the hand upward, and that is when he saw her. the woman who had been watching him from the second-floor balcony when he first entered the Hua family villa. Su Chen wasn't used to interacting with women, and even when he went on that one date with Mu Xiexue, he hadn't even held her hand. Staring at her face, which could only be described as mesmerizing, he couldn't help but blush. Meng Xiao raised an eyebrow at him, and the corner of her lips curled into a smile that could enchant anyone. I don't drink. Su Chen waved his hand repeatedly. After placing their wine glass back on the servant's tray, Meng Xiao walked over and sat down next to him. Her seating was strange. She didn't sit too close, but was still only about 5 or 6 centimeters away. Her hair, blown by the evening breeze, brushed against his skin, making him feel a slight tickling sensation. Su Chen felt his face grow even hotter, and he instinctively moved a little farther away. This woman really did feel like a seductive demon. I heard them say you're Xiexue's boyfriend. Meng Xiao smiled as she spoke. Her voice was soft and soothing, with just a hint of a provocative charm. Yes, Su Chen nodded, biting his lip. He didn't know what was happening to him, but being so close to this woman made him feel like a stiff piece of wood, nervous and out of place. They don't get along with Xiexue, so don't take their words to heart. As she said this, Meng Xiao stood up. Su Chen couldn't help but follow her movements with his eyes. Would you come with me to check something out? Meng Xiao invited. I saw Xiexue walking that way earlier, probably looking for her friends. She is afraid of the dark, and since everyone is here, it's likely someone is trying to prank her. Hearing this, Su Chen immediately became anxious. He didn't know Xiexue was afraid of the dark, but if she had really been tricked, things could get bad. Since the lighting was poor on that side, Su Chen walked ahead. What he didn't notice was that when he turned around, Meng Xiao had a mischievous smile on her lips. They walked down the narrow path for about 100 meters, and as the sounds behind them grew fainter, the dim light revealed a shocking scene. Mu Xiexue was backed against a wall, her arms around a man's neck, and they were kissing passionately. Su Chen felt like all the strength had been drained from his body. If it weren't for Meng Xiao catching him in time, he might have collapsed. From what I know about Xiexue, she is not that kind of person. She must have been threatened. Threatened? Su Chen's expression twisted into something between a grimace and a laugh. He felt like a fool in that moment. If she had truly been threatened, would Xiexue really be so eager to embrace that man? Let us go, Su Chen said, not wanting to disrupt their moment. He already felt foolish enough, and making a scene would only make things worse. He turned around, dazed, and walked back the way they came. The man kissing Xiexue, Su Chen recognized him. He was Hua Xiao, the youngest son of the Hua family, Hua Jiao. Since his roommates hadn't seen him, they were looking for him everywhere. When they saw him walking with the beautiful woman, they quickly moved away to avoid making things awkward. Su Chen sat down on a bench, took out his phone, and opened a messaging app. He clicked on Mu Xiexue's profile. It was only then that he realized her avatar was a half-heart. He hesitated, editing and re-editing a message to break up with her, and just as he was about to send it, a phone screen appeared in front of him. Feeling bad? Of course, you are. But don't you want to save some face? Xiexue, you lost. How about you go after our poor campus heartthrob as part of this dare? I want to do it. Hua Jiao said he is going to confess to me after his birthday. What if he gets mad if I go after that poor guy? Hey! Here comes Hua Xiao. Xiexue, I want to get mad. That poor guy is too proud. I've never liked him, how about we mess with him? Su Chen didn't watch the rest of the video. He gritted his teeth, stood up, and was about to leave. From the start, he had been the one being played. Wait a moment, Meng Xiao called after him. She then opened her bag and handed him a business card. Want to get back at Xiexue? Marry me, and I'll give you whatever you want. Her seductive smile made Su Chen freeze. You don't need to answer right now, Meng Xiao said, leaning in closer. She whispered in his ear, think about it and then give me a call. She slipped the card into Su Chen's hand and walked away. Sitting on the bench, holding the card, Su Chen stayed there for a long time until the party officially began. Hua Jiao walked through the crowd, holding a bouquet of roses and singing a love song as he searched for his girl. Chapter 3, with him? Wouldn't I have to eat plain porridge and pickled vegetables every day? In the crowd, Hua Jiao was like a shining star, walking towards Mu Xiexue with affection in his eyes. The bouquet of roses he held was as red as fire, symbolizing the burning love in his heart. Mu Xieshua's eyes sparkled with surprise and emotion, and the people around her cast envious glances. Xieshua, will you be my girlfriend? Hua Zhao sincerely extended the roses to Mu Xieshua. Yes. Mu Xieshua didn't hesitate and immediately agreed. The two embraced. Kiss. 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 The crowd began to chant. Su Chen stood in the darkest corner, an indescribable bitterness rising in his heart. Amid the cheers, Mu Xieshua and Hua Zhao started to kiss. Su Chen, let us go. His roommates had found him and didn't want to continue playing. They wanted to step in, but they feared it would make things worse and only embarrass him further. All right. Su Chen gritted his teeth, his body trembling slightly as waves of humiliation washed over him, but there was nowhere for it to go. But before they could even walk a few steps, someone stopped them. Su Chen, why are you leaving? Aren't you going to wish Hua Xiao and Xieshua well? Yeah. Leave a blessing before you go. Hua Zhao had invited many classmates to the party. Some were hoping to get on his good side, as being close to their Hua family could save them years of struggle in the future. The crowd began to laugh mockingly. That's Mu Xieshua's ex-boyfriend, isn't he it? I told you, how could a rich girl like her like a poor country bumpkin? Just playing around, I guess. Once she's tired of him, she'll ditch him. If she really married him, would she have to eat plain porridge and pickled vegetables every day? Look at him, he seems pretty mad. What is there to be mad about? Does he really think a toad deserves to marry a swan? Hearing these mockery-filled words, Su Chen's roommates' faces turned pale. Are you done? One of the roommates couldn't take it anymore. Don't mind them. Su Chen couldn't bear to stay in this disgusting place any longer. Let us go. He turned around, desperate to leave the humiliating scene. It turned out that being poor was also a crime. Su Chen, wait. Hua Zhao and Mu Xieshua were holding hands, chasing after him. Do you know why Xieshua is chasing after you? Hua Zhao said arrogantly, like a winner, tossing a wad of 100 yuan bills at Su Chen's feet. It's because Xieshua lost a game and the punishment is to chase you. Everyone watched as Su Chen was humiliated, with expressions ranging from mockery to sympathy. These bills. Consider them a consolation for you. Hua Zhao's words were filled with disdain. The money scattered at Su Chen's feet, and he looked at it with a burning anger in his chest. Just this much. Isn't Hua Xiao being a bit stingy? He sneered. Hua Zhao and Mu Xieshua were both taken aback. Su Chen's reaction wasn't what they had expected. Even Su Chen's roommates couldn't believe he would say something like that. Fine. Hua Zhao motioned to a servant. Go get 100,000 from my room. Stingy? How dare he call him stingy? The crowd was stunned. Hua Zhao was going to give Su Chen 100,000. Soon, the servant returned with the money. Look at you, so pathetic. Hua Zhao picked up the money and tossed it in stacks at Su Chen's feet. Take the money and know your place. The words that followed carried an unmistakable warning. All right. Su Chen smiled and nodded, bending down to pick up all the money. Hua Xiao, don't worry. I won't bother her. 100,000 yuan, he wasn't going to pass it up. He would take it and share it with his roommates, making the humiliation worth it. Just as he turned around, as if remembering something, he looked back and said, I wish Hua Xiao and Miss Mu warmth in each other's company, joy in each other's happiness, and a long life together. After leaving the Hua family mansion, his roommates wanted to comfort him but didn't know what to say, so they simply walked quietly beside him. Don't worry, I'm fine. Su Chen stopped and handed each of his roommates a stack of money. Each stack was 10,000 yuan. The roommates didn't know what to do. If you consider me a friend, take it. Su Chen didn't allow them to refuse. Over the 4 years in university, they had always taken care of him. And tonight, if they hadn't been by his side, he might have already collapsed. It's all right, Su Chen. Yeah, it's fine. You still have us. The roommates comforted him, worried that he might be thinking too much. Su Chen was deeply touched. He decided not to return to school tonight. It's been 4 years, and I've never treated you guys to a meal. Tonight, I'll pay. How about you guys pick the place? His roommates exchanged glances, then, with a silent agreement, they they all thought of one place. Let us go to the night market. It's lively and delicious. So, they all went to their familiar night market. In the past, Su Chen had always been dragged there by them, never spending a penny. The place was full of the smell of street food, and the bustling noise was filled with the essence of life. Su Chen rarely drank, and he wasn't good at handling alcohol. But tonight, he didn't care. Instead, he drank a lot while his roommates drank little. After a few drinks, Su Chen's emotions became a bit intense, and tears began to well up in his eyes. Before long, the tears began to fall down his cheeks. His roommates immediately tried to change the subject. One of them grinningly asked, "Su Chen, earlier at the Hua family's place, I saw a beautiful sister talking to you. Did that beautiful sister take a liking to you?" That made Su Chen remember the business card, and his thoughts drifted. She had said, "Want to get back at Mu Xiexue? Marry me, and I'll give you everything." He had been hurt once already, and didn't he want to be hurt again? Even if the sister was interested in him, it was only because of his face. Once she was bored, she would probably just toss him aside. At that moment, another roommate excitedly said, "I know who that beautiful sister is. Her name is Meng Xiao, the only heir of the Meng family, one of the 3 most powerful families in the capital. She is the current head of the Meng family. If you get with her, you'll have endless wealth." Then he mysteriously added, "And she is also Mu Xiexue's half-sister." Everyone was shocked, staring at Su Chen. Su Chen tightened his grip on the glass cup. The humiliation he suffered at the Hua family's mansion earlier made him want to take revenge. But to be a kept man, eating soft rice. "Su Chen, my brother advises you to just go for Meng Xiao. Yeah. You don't know how good soft rice is when you're young. You mistake a poor girl for a treasure." His roommates were envious. She was the head of the Meng family, and they couldn't help but imagine what it would be like to be with her. If they looked as good as Su Chen, they would already be in her bed. Su Chen just shook his head slightly, a faint smile on his lips. The conversation was interrupted by the sudden sound of a phone ringing. He took the phone out of his pocket and saw it was a call from home. It was already past 11, and for his family to call at this hour, Su Chen had a bad feeling in his heart. "Xiaocheng, your father wasn't feeling well yesterday, so your uncle took him to the county hospital for a checkup. They just called, and they said your father has uremia. What should we do?" Hearing his mother's tearful voice and not knowing what to do, Su Chen's world seemed to collapse. Chapter 4: Hemp ropes tend to break at the thinnest part, and misfortune tends to find the unfortunate. My father's health has been poor over the years and he has never stopped taking medicine. But he never expected that it was uremia. Mom, what did my uncle tell you? He tried his best to calm himself. His 3 younger brothers were still young, and his mother was uneducated and had never left the mountains in her life. He was the only one who could make the decision. The woman on the other end of the phone kept crying, and she became more and more sad. The crying sounded like a knife stabbing Su Chen's heart. Your uncle said this. The doctor said that if he doesn't get a kidney, your father can only live for a year at most. But if he wants a kidney transplant, it will cost a lot of money. Xiao Chen, how can our family afford a kidney transplant? What should we do?" Su Chen raised his head, closed his eyes, took a long, weak breath, and then exhaled. Then he answered the terrified and helpless mother, "Mom, I'll figure out the money issue. You take good care of my brothers and the others. I'll call my uncle later to ask about the situation. Su Chen's cell phone is very cheap and has serious sound leakage." His roommates silently took out all the money and stuffed it into his hands. Maybe this amount of money is not enough, but it can solve the urgent problem. Holding the money, Su Chen was about to kneel down. "Hey, what are you doing?" His roommates were quick to grab him and said, "Don't be afraid, we will help you find a solution. They don't know what's wrong with this world. A hemp rope always breaks at the thinnest part, and misfortune always finds the unfortunate people." Su Chen opened Baidu on his mobile phone with red eyes. When he saw those 2 numbers, his brain felt dizzy. A kidney transplant costs about 300,000 yuan. Where can I find so much money? How about we do a fundraiser? See how much we can raise. That's a good idea, Su Chen. Call back quickly and ask your family to send us your uncle's test results. Under the urging of his roommates, Su Chen was about to call back when his cell phone rang again. Su Chen, your mother has told you about your father's situation, right? I'll tell you the details. The doctor said that your father is getting old, and no one cares if he starts to show symptoms. If we can't find a suitable kidney donor within 2 months, he won't be able to get a replacement even if we find one later. At this point, the man sighed heavily, and then asked in a low voice, Su Chen, a kidney transplant costs 70,000 to 80,000 yuan, and a kidney source costs about 200,000 yuan. Plus the immunosuppressive drugs later, it will cost at least 10,000 yuan every month. It's too much money, otherwise. Uncle, I'll find a way to solve the money problem. Su Chen interrupted him and continued, he is my father. Even if our family was poor, he never let me give up my studies. I want to save him. On the other end of the phone, the man choked up. After a long while, he finally managed to say, Su Chen, good boy, your uncle will take care of you here, don't worry. After Su Chen hung up the phone, the only sounds around him were sighs. They can still raise money through donations, but what about kidneys? It is not easy to find a suitable kidney source within 2 months. Asking a roommate to hold the money, Su Chen took out the business card from his trouser pocket with trembling hands. One roommate wanted to say something, but was immediately covered by his mouth by other roommates. I called the number on the business card, and a pleasant woman's voice rang in my ear, hello. Su Chen took a breath, it's me. There was a pause on the other end. She seemed a little surprised by his call. Have you figured it out so quickly? Meng Xiao asked him with a charming smile. Just listening to that voice, Su Chen's mind suddenly appeared with Meng Xiao's enchanting face. My father has uremia and needs to find a suitable kidney donor within 2 months. As he said these words, his eyes turned red again. The roommates next to me also felt bad. Come here and talk to your sister face to face. The call was hung up, and soon, a message came. Su Chen opened the text message and saw an address on it. You guys eat first, no need to wait for me. He didn't dare to delay any longer, so he rushed to the roadside, hailed a taxi and left. So, are we still raising funds? A roommate asked worriedly. They all knew where Su Chen had gone. Let's wait and see, oh. The other roommates sighed helplessly. Meng Xiao's private villa was a bit far away, and Su Chen took an hour-long taxi ride to get there. At the door of the villa, a middle-aged woman was already waiting. She first looked at Su Chen, then made a gesture of invitation, Mr. Su, please come in. After entering the villa, Su Chen took every step carefully. Mr. Su, Miss asked you to take a shower before going upstairs. Aunt Zhang handed a tray with a set of nightgown to Su Chen and pointed in the direction of the bathroom. The bathroom is over there. I have prepared all the toiletries in advance. They are all new. Su Chen took the tray, took a breath, and walked towards the bathroom with stiff steps. After taking a shower and putting on his bathrobe, he was stunned. No underwear. Su Chen poked his head out of the bathroom, his face flushed. The clothes he took off also disappeared inexplicably. I'm sorry, Mr. Su, I don't know your size, and I'm in a hurry. Aunt Zhang was also very sorry. Su Chen held his forehead with his hand and had to wrap himself up tightly and walk out. Mr. Su, please. Aunt Zhang smiled secretly and took him upstairs. This is the first time the lady asks a man to go home. She is pretty and young. Aunt Zhang was praising her young lady for her good taste in her heart. Although Su Chen was mentally prepared, he was still very nervous and scared. Mr. Su, please open the door and go in yourself. Aunt Zhang didn't plan to follow her in, so as not to spoil the young lady's mood. The corridor was quiet and Su Chen could clearly hear the sound of his own heartbeat. Very urgent. He clenched his fist, raised his hand to hold the door handle, gently turned the door open, and walked in. The room was dimly lit with flickering candlelight. The air was filled with pleasant aromatherapy scent, and my body inexplicably relaxed. Meng Xiao stood by the window, just like when he first saw her, holding the red wine glass and shaking it gently. But what she was wearing now was a black nightgown, which barely covered her hips, revealing a pair of long, white and straight legs. Coming. Meng Xiao turned around and looked at Su Chen with a seductive look. From bottom to top, inch by inch. Her nightgown was deep V and decorated with lace. A heat surged up from Su Chen's lower abdomen, and his face turned red instantly. Even the air exhaled from the nostrils was scalding hot. He quickly looked away. Meng Xiao raised his lips wickedly, put the wine glass on the table, and picked up the tablet on it. I have found a kidney source and a medical team. I have also sent someone to take your father in for surgery. I think they have already left. You don't have to worry about the money. Su Chen took the tablet and looked at the content on it, his eyes turned red. Meng Xiao took the tablet from him and put it on the table. Then he reached out and hooked Su Chen's bathrobe on his chest and pushed him down on the bed. Chapter 5, Young and ignorant of the goodness of elder sister, mistakenly treating the girl as a treasure. The bed was very soft and Su Chen bounced after he fell down. Feeling a chill under his crotch, he hurriedly grabbed his bathrobe to cover his important parts. Is this how you plan to repay me? Meng Xiao looked down at him condescendingly. Su Chen pursed his lips and his body was as stiff as a piece of wood. He spoke incoherently because he was nervous. How long will we maintain this relationship? Looking at Meng Xiao approaching step by step, his chest began to heave violently, his breathing became rapid, and his hands gripped his bathrobe even tighter. Does it matter? At this moment, Meng Xiao was already sticking to him. Relax, Tilda. The warm breath on his neck made Su Chen tremble violently. Half an hour later. Meng Xiaoyi put on her nightgown and sat down on the edge of the bed. Su Chen, on the other hand, covered his entire body with the quilt, leaving only his head exposed. Take this card. There is 10 million in it. It is your pocket money for this month. I will have someone transfer the money into it every month from now on. Looking at the bank card handed over by Meng Xiao, Su Chen opened his eyes wide in shock. 10 million? Pocket money? Or 1 month? Meng Xiao passed the card over again. Her eyes seemed to be ordering Su Chen to accept it quickly. Too many. Su Chen took the card obediently with mixed feelings. 10 million is an astronomical figure for him. He never had any pocket money and sometimes he couldn't even afford to eat. You have to get used to it. Meng Xiao bent down and kissed him on the mouth. From now on, you are the new Su Chen. Su Chen nodded obediently again. Go wash up. I'll ask Aunt Zhang to make the bed. After you wash up, come downstairs for a midnight snack. After giving the instructions, Meng Xiao took the laptop she had placed on the table and left the room. Su Chen didn't dare to lie down for too long. As soon as Meng Xiao left the room, he lifted the quilt and sat up. Although the light in the room was dim, the touch of red on the off-white bed sheets was particularly eye-catching. His mood became even more complicated. When I came out of the bathroom after taking a shower, Aunt Zhang had already changed the bed sheets and quilt covers. Perhaps because there were not many people around, the whole villa was quiet. Su Chen walked very lightly, and when he walked behind Meng Xiao, she didn't notice at all. She is chatting with someone. Feng Jihian, it was my first time, so the experience was not very good. Sandong Saixia, I said the little boy has no experience, baby. Feng Jihian, it will be fine after a few more times. Sandong Saixia, don't scare me like a hungry wolf. You saw everything. Meng Xiao glanced at Su Chen who was sitting next to him. She also left her notebook open, as if on purpose. I'm sorry. Su Chen's heart was beating fast with nervousness. I hurt you. It was his first time doing that and he was nervous, and without any experience, he was a little clumsy. Try again after supper. Meng Xiao leaned over, hugged Su Chen's waist, and deliberately blew hot air onto his ears. It's very late. How could Su Chen stand such teasing? His face turned red all the way to his ears. It's not too late. Meng Xiao curled his lips and stopped teasing him. Aunt Zhang brought over 2 bowls of beef noodles. The rich aroma made Su Chen drool. He hadn't eaten anything since yesterday noon, and was really hungry. Aunt Zhang smiled, put it down and left quickly. This boy looked very well behaved, and the more she looked at him, the more she liked him. Did you bring your ID? Halfway through the noodles, Meng Xiao suddenly asked. Su Chen stopped slurping the noodles. He was a little flattered, but also thought that he might have guessed wrong. No. He shook his head. I put it in the school dormitory. I'll take you to school tomorrow, and then I'll take your ID card and we'll go get the certificate. Meng Xiao didn't like eating meat very much. Aunt Zhang knew her taste and only put 2 pieces of beef in her bowl. She ate 1 piece and picked up the other one and put it to Su Chen's mouth. The words, "get the certificate," made Su Chen's mind go blank. so much so that he forgot to open his mouth when the meat was at his fingertips. He couldn't understand what Meng Xiao saw in him. Give him 10 million yuan a month as pocket money, and get a marriage certificate. You dislike my saliva. Meng Xiao pretended to put the meat back into the bowl, with a hurt expression on his face. No, I haven't. Su Chen quickly opened his mouth, bit the meat, chewed it roughly and swallowed it. The two were silent for a while. He then asked, my body and this face, are they worth so much money? This question successfully made Meng Xiao laugh. She originally wanted to take her laptop upstairs, but seeing Su Chen's puzzled look, she sat back down. You are good looking, have good character, a good figure, and a high level of education. I am attracted to you and want to take you for myself. It's that simple. Looking at her back, Su Chen felt mixed emotions. How could a person like him have such virtue and ability? But no matter what, he will be hers from now on. When Su Chen went upstairs and returned to the room, Meng Xiao was already lying on the bed. The temperature was set a little low. On the wall opposite the bed, a projector was playing a movie. Come over. Seeing that Su Chen was getting nervous again, Meng Xiao couldn't help but smile. As soon as I lay down on the bed, the movie on the wall changed. Su Chen tilted his head in shock and looked at Meng Xiao, as if asking, are you serious? It was the first time he watched this kind of movie, and he blushed at the scenes. Meng Xiao, on the other hand, was very calm. After maintaining this state for half an hour, Meng Xiao asked him, did you learn anything? Su Chen swallowed and his Adam's apple rolled. He hesitated for a moment before nodding, a little bit. Then let's. Meng Xiao's hand had already reached out to his body, and his nails gently scratched his skin. Let's start. Su Chen didn't know when he had learned it all by himself. When he got up in the morning and washed up, he found marks all over his body. On the back and neck. It's summer now and the clothes we wear are thin and can't cover it up. After breakfast, Meng Xiao took Su Chen out. It was his first time riding in such a nice car and he almost couldn't even open the door. Meng Xiao has 3 sports cars like this in her garage, all in different colors. The one she drove today was a red Ferrari. Along the way, the roar of the car attracted a lot of attention. Imperial Capital University is the best university in China. To be admitted to this university, you cannot just be rich, you must have real talent. Even the 3 major families in the imperial capital are no exception. There are many poor students studying in this university, and of course, there are also many students from wealthy families. When the colorful red Ferrari stopped in front of the gate of Imperial Capital University, it immediately attracted everyone's attention. Mu Xiaoxue had just gotten out of Hu Zhao's sports car when she saw Meng Xiao's car. Xiaoxue, is that your sister's car? What is she doing here? Hu Zhao stared at the red limited edition sports car and couldn't help feeling a little jealous. If my grandfather hadn't been unwilling to give me so much money, I would be driving it now. She is a major shareholder of the school, so she can come if she wants. Mu Xiaoxue held Hu Zhao's hand and couldn't help rolling her eyes. She didn't like her sister Meng Xiao, and even hated her very much. Mu Xiaoxue didn't want to see Meng Xiao, so she pulled Hu Zhao away. But after taking a few steps, she heard an incredible sound. Oh my god! Am I seeing things? The person who got out of the sports car was Su Chen. The sister who sent him to school was so beautiful, even prettier than our school beauty. Could it be that Su Chen is being kept by that beautiful sister? Chapter 6. If you want to thank me, then perform well tonight. Su Chen, being kept, these words immediately irritated Mu Xiaoxue and Hu Zhao. After all, Su Chen is an acquaintance of theirs. Mu Xiaoxue turned around and saw this scene. Etc. Su Chen opened the car door and was about to get out when Meng Xiao stopped him. What's wrong? Su Chen's voice was gentle, and contained a hint of doting. In his mind, since he had had a relationship with Meng Xiao, he had to treat her well. Meng Xiao reached out and grabbed Su Chen's clothes, pulling him back. Give me a kiss before you leave. There were so many people watching outside, and Su Chen's face turned red. Why? Are you afraid of being embarrassed because I'm older than you? Meng Xiao lowered his eyelids and pretended to be sad. Wait until I come back. Su Chen didn't say a word of excuse. He kissed her on the lips before closing the door and getting out of the car. Mu Xiaoxue's face turned green. She clenched her fists so tightly that her nails almost dug into her palms. Ignoring the people's whispers, Su Chen walked straight into the school. Su Chen. Mu Xiaoxue was extremely unhappy. She left Wu Zhao behind and chased after him, blocking Su Chen's way. Miss Mu, what's the matter? Su Chen took 2 steps back and kept his distance from her. This step back made Mu Xiaoxue even angrier. Do you still have any shame? She asked angrily. The passenger window of the red limited edition Ferrari was already open, and Meng Xiao was looking at it with a half smile. Su Chen gave her a gentle smile in return. Mu Xiaoxue's eyes were almost filled with fire. Without intending to answer Mu Xiaoxue, Su Chen walked around her and left. Wu Zhao chased after him, looking at Su Chen's back with contempt on his face. Xiaoxue, ignore him. A poor guy finally found an opportunity. He won't listen to your advice. Just let him degenerate. I think your sister is just playing around. When he is abandoned, he will cry. Of course Mu Xiaoxue knew that Meng Xiao would not take it seriously, and was just using Su Chen to disgust her. She was just a little unhappy. The way Su Chen looked at that bitch Meng Xiao was even gentler than the way he had looked at her before. Don't be angry, don't be angry. You'll get wrinkles if you're angry. Wu Zhao put his arm around Mu Xiaoxue's waist, lowered his head and kissed her on the face, coaxing her. I don't have classes this afternoon, how about I take you to the mall to shop? In recent months, Mu Xiaoxue has been short of pocket money and wants to buy a lot of new models. Hearing Wu Zhao say this, she nodded excitedly and agreed. When Su Chen arrived at the dormitory, his roommates all jumped out of their beds and crowded over to ask him questions with concern. Su Chen, how is uncle's matter going? By the way, Su Chen, we put the money in your locker, remember to collect it later. Su Chen, are you okay? Only then did everyone notice the kiss mark on his neck. They knew what it meant. My father's problem has been solved. Su Chen blushed a little when his neck was stared at. He opened his locker and took out all the money. Thank you for your concern. He stuffed a wad of money into each of them, then asked with a smile, do you have anything you want to ask? Originally they were too embarrassed to ask, after all, it was a rather private matter. But I really can't help it. After making him sit on the bed, they took turns interrogating him. Has it been eaten up by the beautiful sister? Su Chen nodded. Several times. Su Chen raised 3 fingers. Is the bed big, beautiful sister? Su Chen nodded. Then Su Chen, is the beautiful sister responsible for you? This issue is what roommates are most concerned about. If it was just that kind of relationship, they had to persuade Su Chen to be mentally prepared, otherwise he would not only lose his virginity but also his heart. I'll come back to get my ID card and go with her to get the certificate later. Speaking of this, Su Chen's eyes were filled with sweetness. No matter why Meng Xiao wanted to get married with him, she was willing to give him a status. And on their way here she also said that it was not a secret marriage, and that she would ask the media to make it public and have a wedding. Their whole dormitory became so quiet that you could hear a pin drop. Meng Xiao said he would treat you to dinner tonight. I'll send you the address then. After getting the ID card, Su Chen was about to leave. I'm going to get the ID first. She's still waiting for me at the school gate. The roommates looked at Su Chen's back and it took them a long time to come back to their senses. They were so happy that they almost cried. Their Su Chen finally didn't have to live a hard life anymore. Maybe one person will succeed and the whole family will benefit from it. The Ferrari was still parked in its original position, but Meng Xiao was on the phone. After Su Chen got in the car, he sat there obediently without disturbing her. Meng Xiao took a glance and then hung up the phone. Kiss me and I'll tell you good news. She didn't roll up the car window, as if on purpose. There were still many people watching outside, some even taking photos with their cell phones. Meng Xiao didn't care, and even felt a little bit like showing off. Su Chen's face turned red again. He felt embarrassed, but couldn't bear to refuse, so he turned around and kissed her. Outside the car, there were bursts of exclamations. His face got even hotter. Only then did Meng Xiao roll up the car window with satisfaction and start the car. Dad is halfway there. He is expected to arrive at the Imperial Capital Hospital tomorrow morning. There will be doctors to take care of him on their way. You don't have to worry. She guessed Su Chen would like this news. Su Chen grabbed the seatbelt with both hands, and his eyes couldn't help but turn red. She just said Dad, not your dad. There were many cars on the road, and Meng Xiao was driving seriously, so he didn't notice Su Chen's abnormality. She added, I'll arrange for someone to go back in a few days and bring mom and my brothers over. If they want to live together, they can. If not, I'll buy them a bigger villa with a vegetable garden where they can grow vegetables, raise chickens and dogs. Is that okay? Su Chen couldn't bear it any longer. He covered his eyes with his hands and tears rolled down his face. The crying scared Meng Xiao. She quickly pulled over and stepped on the brakes. Don't cry. Seeing Su Chen crying harder and harder, Meng Xiao was a little at a loss. I don't know how to comfort people, you. Before she could say anything else, Su Chen reached out and hugged her. Her body was shaking as she cried, as if she was venting all the grievances and humiliations she had suffered over the years. Meng Xiao sighed heavily and patted his back gently. Stop crying, okay? Meng Xiao was helpless. Your eyes will be swollen and won't look good in wedding photos. You only have one photo in your lifetime. Su Chen quickly grabbed a tissue and wiped away his tears. Then he held Meng Xiao's face with both hands and kissed her on the lips. Meng Xiao, thank you. The car started again. Meng Xiao raised his lips to smile evilly. Call me sister. Su Chen pursed his lips. Sister Tilda. It sounds raw and astringent, like the hum of a mosquito. If you want to thank me, behave well tonight. Meng Xiao drove with one hand and scratched Su Chen's nose with the other hand. Su Chen immediately understood what she meant by behaving well, and his face turned red. After getting the certificate from the Civil Affairs Bureau, Meng Xiao drove Su Chen to the mall. Honey, I want to buy this. Meng Xiao held Su Chen's hand and called him husband again and again, making him dazed. Su Chen finally understood why Meng Xiao gave him so much pocket money. It turned out that he wanted to give him face when he was outside. After spending over 20,000 yuan on a bottle of what should be skin care products, Meng Xiao turned around and took Su Chen's arm and walked into the lingerie store. Before Su Chen had time to feel embarrassed, he saw two familiar figures in the store. Mu Xiaoxue and Wu Zhao are here too. Chapter 7 Cuteness is worthless in front of sexiness. Look at this outfit, baby. It's cute and sexy. Wear it for me tonight, okay? Hu Zhao was holding a pink lingerie set with a lace bow in his hand and coaxing Mu Xiaoxue in a low voice. Mu Xiaoxue was brought here right after buying the bag, and her face turned red with embarrassment. She originally wanted to come here to buy the latest model of Stellar Lu nightgown, but unexpectedly Hu Zhao set his eyes on that set of underwear. She and Hu Zhao had done it before, but she was still shy. Honey, the styles over there are too childish and the sizes are too small. Let's go over there. Meng Xiao took Su Chen's hand and went to the other side. The styles there are sexy and hot, and you can tell at first glance that they are not something a little girl can wear. Su Chen curled the corners of his mouth lovingly and replied, okay. How could he not hear that those words were said deliberately for Mu Xiaoxue to hear? Especially the four words, the size is also small, are particularly meaningful. Hearing the familiar voice, Mu Xiaoxue turned around as if she had seen a ghost. She couldn't believe it. It's bad enough that she met that bitch Meng Xiao and Su Chen here, but she just called Su Chen husband. Knowing that she was looking at him, Meng Xiao was too lazy to turn around and pay attention. Honey, which one do you like? I'll wear it for you tonight. The nightgowns in front of her were all short and transparent suspenders. Just by looking at them hanging there, she could imagine what they would look like when put on. Mu Xiaoxue grabbed the strap of her bag, feeling both ashamed and angry. She didn't know how Meng Xiao could say such shameless words without avoiding others. Only children make choices. Su Chen took off all three. My wife will wear this one tonight, this one tomorrow night, and this one the night after. Perhaps it was to take revenge on Mu Xiaoxue that he endured and said such explicit words for the first time. But, the effect is good. Mu Xiaoxue's face turned green. He said he loved her so much and even planned their future together, but it has only been a short time and he has already climbed into someone else's bed. Honey, I want to buy another set of underwear. Meng Xiao took Su Chen's arm and changed positions. She looked at the styles in front of her and asked teasingly, Honey, do you know what size I wear? To be honest, Su Chen didn't know. He had no idea about the sizes of underwear, but he could probably tell. Recalling the size, he took one off the shelf and said, Honey, is this the right size? God knows how red his face is now. 36E, my husband is awesome. Meng Xiao stood on tiptoe and kissed Su Chen on the face. She is 170 centimeters tall, but in front of Su Chen, who is 188 centimeters tall, she still has to tiptoe a little when she wears 7 centimeters high heels to kiss him. Mu Xiaoxue took a look at the pink suit in Hu Zhao's hand, size 32A, and instantly felt it was particularly dazzling. Hu Zhao kept silent with a cold face. After a while, he said in a comforting tone, "Xiaoxue, let's go eat something delicious later, okay? I just said I would buy you skin care products, but you said you were still young and didn't need them. As your boyfriend, I don't know what to buy you." Hu Zhao never said he would buy her skin care products, but Mu Xiaoxue was smart enough to hear that he was secretly mocking Meng Xiaolao. Good. She was in a better mood. What's the big deal? Her advantage was her youth. Hu Zhao glanced at Su Chen and said, "I should change my underwear, Xiaoxue, help me choose." Mu Xiaoxue didn't know what he was going to do, but followed him anyway. Soon, she picked out a few styles she liked. "My girlfriend picked these for me, all of them are in plus sizes." Hu Zhao handed the pairs of underwear to the salesperson with a hint of provocation in his tone. On the other side, Meng Xiao was also helping Su Chen choose underwear. She frowned. "Does your store have larger sizes? Any styles that are slightly larger in that area? I see these styles are quite small there, and I'm a little worried that my husband might be uncomfortable wearing them." Dead silence. Deathly silence. Su Chen pursed his lips, wanting to cry but without tears. That's true, but women's desire to win can be a little scary sometimes. The salesperson had encountered all kinds of customers before, so she went to find the payment calmly. After a while, they brought over a few that met Meng Xiao's requirements. "Honey, if we can't find the right ones in the future, we can have them custom made. Don't buy a size larger than your own just for the sake of comfort." After the purchase, Meng Xiao took Su Chen to check out. Hu Zhao's face had become as dark as the bottom of a pot. He is not stupid. Meng Xiao was mocking him just now. The man's face is calling him madly at this moment, he must not lose this round. "Pay the bill." He dragged Mu Xiaoxue to Su Chen and Meng Xiao and took out his bank card in a domineering manner. Although the cashier was eating melon, he managed his facial expression very well. She settled the bill professionally and said, "Welcome sir and madam to visit us next time." Unlike some people. They have hands and feet, but can only. Before Hu Zhao finished his mockery, he saw Su Chen take out a bank card from his pocket and handed it to the cashier. He smiled politely, "Hello, check out." The expression on Hu Zhao's face suddenly fell. At this moment, he felt like a joke staying here. Don't be so complacent. Mu Xiaoxue couldn't help herself. She rushed forward and glared at Meng Xiao fiercely, "He's just greedy for your money. Do you think he really likes you?" Hu Zhao had a headache. He was about to leave but still approached him. Didn't he think it was embarrassing enough? "Xiaoxue." Meng Xiao stretched out his hand and pinched Mu Xiaoxue's chin, raising his eyebrows playfully. "You can't beat me if you are so angry." After leaving the lingerie store, the two bought Su Chen a new laptop, mobile phone, and clothes in the mall before going home. Meng Xiao told him to live here from now on and not have to go back to school. Su Chen thought about it and agreed. Something urgent happened at the company, so Meng Xiao gave him an address and told him to just go there for dinner in the evening, as she would be there later. There are not many servants in the villa. Apart from two who usually clean the house, there are the driver Lao Wang and Aunt Zhang. After knowing that the young lady had obtained the marriage certificate, Aunt Zhang changed the way she addressed Su Chen from Mr. Su to Mr. Just one word missing, but the status is completely different. "Sir, what kind of food do you like?" Aunt Zhang held a small notebook and a pen in her hand, ready to take notes. "You and Miss went out, you haven't had breakfast yet, right?" Su Chen was wondering whether to tell his family that he was married when he heard Aunt Zhang asking him. "I'm fine with it, just do whatever you want, Aunt Zhang." He is not picky about food, as long as it fills his stomach. "Okay." Aunt Zhang nodded with a smile, "Then I'll do it according to Mrs.'s preferences." The living room was quiet. After thinking over and over again about what to say, Su Chen finally dialed the phone. The call was connected quickly. "Xiao Chen, is your father here?" Mother Su's voice was excited and worried. "Your uncle said that you contacted the hospital in the capital and sent someone to pick him up. Xiao Chen, where did you get so much money? You must not do anything bad." "Mom, your son is not that capable." Su Chen's words were full of helplessness. "It was your daughter-in-law who contacted the hospital and asked someone to pick him up. She also asked someone to help Dad find a kidney donor. If the examination shows nothing abnormal, the operation can be performed immediately. Su's mother stopped talking.
Mom, are you listening?
Su Chen was a little nervous. Su Chen, did you sell yourself to a rich woman? Su's mother burst into tears over there.
Nothing, Mom, just listen to me and I'll tell you slowly.
It took Su Chen a full hour to explain what had happened clearly and make his mother feel completely at ease. Aunt Zhang had already prepared the meal, but she didn't disturb him because he was on the phone. Su Chen was just about to go to the restaurant to eat when he saw a man and a woman rushing in. Where's that pretty boy? Where is that pretty boy? Get out here. Chapter 8. The father-in-law gave him 100,000 yuan and asked him to leave. It was a middle-aged man and a middle-aged woman.
Soon, the two found Su Chen.
You are that shameless pretty boy.
Mu Anbang pointed at him angrily. You are the one who seduced my daughter.
Hearing Mu Anbang's voice, Aunt Zhang thought something was wrong and quickly took out her cell phone to make a call. Su Chen did not have time to get to know the Meng family, but he guessed the identity of the visitor. Since he claimed to be Meng Xiao's father, he must be his father-in-law.
Hello, uncle.
Su Chen was afraid that calling him dad would make him unhappy, so he politely called him uncle first and made a gesture of invitation. I think you must have misunderstood something. How about we sit over here and talk? Mu Anbang and the middle-aged woman who came with him glanced at him with contempt before going to sit down in the living room.
Open.
Just as Su Chen was about to ask Zhang's mother to make tea, Mu Anbang threw a bank card on the table and said, There is 100,000 in the card. Leave my daughter immediately. If you don't know what's good for you, I will find someone to kill you. He thought that the Meng family would definitely not accept him. After all, he was just a poor boy from the mountains, and his status was far different from that of the Meng family. But he never expected that the Meng family would come so soon and humiliate him like this.
Just then, Su Chen's cell phone rang.
He picked it up and saw that it was Meng Xiao calling. Excuse me, uncle. I have to take a call first. He respected Meng Xiao. She was his lover and his benefactor. No matter what the situation was, he would answer his wife's phone calls in time. As soon as the call was connected, Meng Xiao's pleasant voice entered his ears. Su Chen, Mu Anbang and I have severed our father-daughter relationship. If he makes things difficult for you, just beat him up. If he gets hurt, it's my fault.
Meng Xiao was still busy, so he hung up the phone after he finished speaking.
After putting the phone back into his trouser pocket, Su Chen looked at Mu Anbang with a complicated look. Mu Anbang's surname is Mu and his wife's surname is Meng, so Mu Anbang married into the family. His wife also severed the father-daughter relationship with him, so the woman next to Mu Anbang now should be his current wife.
Mu Xiaoxue is the daughter of this woman and Mu Anbang.
Did you hear what I just said?
Mu Anbang frowned impatiently.
Over the years, he has arranged countless men to seduce Meng Xiao, but none of them succeeded. How could this pretty boy from a poor mountain village succeed so easily and even get married to Meng Xiao? He couldn't bear it for a moment when he thought that this pretty boy might get a share of the Meng family's assets in the future. Mr. Mu, please take this lady and leave immediately, otherwise I will call the police and report you for trespassing. Su Chen's attitude changed so quickly that Mu Anbang was stunned. He quickly realized that the call that the pretty boy had just answered must have been from Meng Xiao. Why are you trespassing?
Meng Xiao was not there, and Mu Anbang was not worried that he would be kicked out.
This is my daughter's home. Aunt Zhang couldn't stand it any longer and said sarcastically, but my young lady has severed ties with you. She hated Mu Anbang. If it weren't for him, the lady wouldn't have been so angry to death.
Mu Anbang's face suddenly darkened.
Please leave. Su Chen's attitude was tough, completely different from before. And you? He looked at the middle-aged woman who was secretly recording with her phone. There are surveillance cameras here. If a cut-off video appears online, be careful to end up in jail for the rest of your life. Mu Anbang thought that Su Chen was just a pretty boy who had never seen the world and came from a poor mountain village, but he didn't expect that he would be so difficult to deal with. The middle-aged woman turned off her cell phone awkwardly. Boy, you're good. Mu Anbang pointed at Su Chen and threatened, but there will be a day when you cry and beg me to let you go. He worked hard for most of his life and only got 3% of the shares of Meng Group. This pretty boy, don't even think about getting in and getting a share of the pie. Oh? Really? Su Chen was really disgusted by Mu Anbang's expression, so he just let him get angry enough, but my wife gives me 10 million pocket money every month. These words successfully irritated Mu Anbang and the middle-aged woman, and their expressions looked as if they wanted to tear him to pieces.
Young man, don't get complacent too soon.
Mu Anbang gritted his teeth and pulled the middle-aged woman away. He knew Meng Xiao very well. If he stayed there for too long, she would really call the police and ask someone to come over. Although he failed this time, Mu Anbang did not give up. He didn't believe that he couldn't find a way to get Su Chen out. While eating, Su Chen opened the chat software and clicked on Meng Xiao's avatar at the top of the contacts. A ray of morning light. Wife, have you eaten? I heard from Aunt Zhang that Meng Xiao is usually very busy. She manages the huge Meng group by herself. Sometimes she is so busy that she doesn't even have time to eat, which causes her stomach to be in bad condition and always hurts. There is always stomach medicine in the medicine box at home. He had just started getting along with her and couldn't say that they had any feelings for each other, but Su Chen felt sorry for Meng Xiao. She is only 33 years old this year. After a while, Meng Xiao sent him a message back. Phone Jihian, eating. After these 3 short words, a picture was attached. They were all vegetarian dishes, with only 2 pieces of sweet and sour spare ribs. Su Chen sighed. What should I do if my wife doesn't like to eat meat? Phone Jihian, husband, what are your plans after graduation? Looking at the question on the phone, Su Chen remembered the job application he had filled out previously. He thought about it before replying. A ray of morning light. I am majoring in artificial intelligence and would like to go to Aurora Technology to see if I can apply for a job. After replying to Meng Xiao, Su Chen quickly withdrew the job application he had submitted previously. Fortunately, it has not been reviewed yet, otherwise it would be a bit troublesome. Phone Jihian, Aurora Technology is the most advanced artificial intelligence company in China. It is a good choice, but there is no rush to apply for the job. Husband, if you have time in the next few days, go to the driving school to register. You have to take the driving test, otherwise the cars at home will just be covered in dust.
Meng Xiao did not tell Su Chen that Aurora Technology was her best friend's company.
Even if it wasn't recruitment season, it would only take a word for him to get in. A ray of morning light. Okay, I'll listen to my wife hash. Phone Jihian, hubby, the place to eat has been arranged. Just tell me your name when you get there.
I have a meeting this afternoon.
Come over after it's over. It should be just in time for dinner.
Flying kiss hash.
Then, Meng Xiao sent the address to Su Chen.
Dragon Feast, a very domineering name.
Su Chen's intuition told him that eating there must be expensive. I was busy with some school stuff and time quickly came to around 4 in the afternoon. When the driver Lao Wang took him to Longting Feast, his roommates had already arrived for a while. Oh my god, Su Chen, now we have really benefited from one person's success. Do you know where this place is? My roommates were so excited. Su Chen shook his head. Longting Feast, the top restaurant in the capital. I heard that the people who come here to eat are either rich or noble. The cheapest dish, boiled cabbage, costs 500 yuan a plate. When they received the address, they didn't dare eat anything. I just want to save some space for tonight's luxurious dinner. So expensive. Su Chen swallowed his saliva, and then helplessly asked everyone to go in. No, it's okay, it's hot outside, let's go in. My wife said that the private room has been booked, the dishes have been ordered, and the money has been paid, so we definitely can't change the place. As soon as the few people entered the Longting Feast, a man in professional attire walked over. He looked at Su Chen and the others one by one. After looking at them all, he asked in a very contemptuous tone, "Did you come to the wrong place?"
Chapter 9, Not everyone can eat this kind of free food.
What do you mean? Do you think we look like idiots who can't read? What? Just because we're not wearing designer clothes, we don't deserve to eat here, right? I am a very civilized person, don't force me to scold you. I'm giving you a chance to withdraw your remark. Speak nicely. The roommates were arguing with each other, which made the male receptionist look very unhappy. He sneered, some of the fake socialites who came to our Longting Feast are still using jibe to pay off their debts. Although they are fake socialites, at least they are wearing real brand names. Look at you, you are all Dabao goods, right? You want to hook up with rich women, but you don't even want to spend the money. The roommates were almost maddened by such humiliating words. Do you know who he is? I advise you to be nicer, otherwise you will lose your job. One of the roommates put his hand on Su Chen's shoulder and whispered in Su Chen's ear, Su Chen, show him your electronic marriage certificate and scare him to death.
I'm a fucking enoki mushroom guy, who am I looking down on?
The male receptionist looked at Su Chen and rolled his eyes. That's not right, Su Chen. Another roommate analyzed to Su Chen in a low voice, logically speaking, the reception in a place like this can't be so rude. With such an attitude, I wonder how many people will be offended and how much word of mouth will be affected. Will the business be gone? I know. Another smart roommate came up to Su Chen with his phone in hand. Su Chen, look, Hua Jiao is also eating here. He must have seen you upstairs when you came here just now. Soon, he discovered that Hua Jiao had posted again. The title of that video is, Those Who Want to Live Off Others Have to Learn from Su Chen. Look, now he is bringing his roommates to the Longton feast. The sarcastic title went viral on Chiabar right after it was posted, instantly gaining over 300 likes, and the number of comments and reposts also increased wildly. Su Chen sighed, took out his cell phone and called Meng Xiao, and said to his roommates, wait for me. He didn't want to get into trouble, but now trouble has come to him and he can't solve it now. I'm in a meeting, what's up? It was very quiet over there on Meng Xiao's side, with a hint of coldness. Sister, I ran into some trouble at the dragon feast. Hua Jiao bribed the receptionist and refused to let us in. Su Chen spoke briefly, but if he didn't ask her for help, who knows what Hua Jiao would say on the campus forum. He doesn't care what others say about him, but his roommates shouldn't be involved. Tell him that you'll pay for the entire meal tonight. Before Su Chen could say anything, the call was hung up. Holding back the pain, he took out the bank card that Meng Xiao had given him. You look down on others. Swipe the card, and I'll pay for all the expenses at the dragon feast tonight. These frightening words frightened the male receptionist and his roommates. Su Chen felt helpless. His wife had spoken, so he had to listen. His wife told him to go east, but he didn't dare go west. Pretending to be awesome, huh? The man who took the order glanced at him disdainfully. Okay, don't regret it. Mr. Wu said that as long as he handled this matter well, even if he was fired, he would be assigned a better job. Soon, he called someone over. The name tag on his chest reads, Manager. You mean you want to pay for the whole place? The manager looked at Su Chen. He looked unfamiliar and he had never seen him before. Even the rich young men in the capital didn't look like this kind of person. Stop talking nonsense. Swipe the card. The roommates just felt so good. And they also knew that Su Chen's confidence was definitely given by Meng Xiao. Okay. The manager nodded with a smile. Please wait a moment. I need some time to calculate. Then she glared at the male receptionist angrily and said, stand there and don't move. I'll deal with you later. Treating guests with this kind of attitude requires them to be polite regardless of whether they are here to eat or not. If the boss knew about this, he would be finished as a manager. The male receptionist was not afraid at all. If he had the guts, he could fire him. Anyway, Mr. Wu would arrange a better job for him. It only took 2 or 3 minutes for the manager to come back. He presented the bill to Su Chen. Hello, this is the total cost of dining here. There are 7 private rooms and 13 regular tables, plus drinks. The total is 2.88 million. Su Chen just felt his head buzzing. He pretended to be calm and handed over the bank card. Swipe the card. They couldn't imagine how rich Su Chen was now, 2,880,000, without even blinking an eye. After swiping the card, the manager took out a silk scarf and wiped the sweat off his forehead before asking politely, are you here for dinner, sir? Or did you book a private room in advance? Private room number 1, reserved by Meng Xiao. Su Chen reported the information. The manager felt like the sky was falling. At this moment, he wished he could skin the receptionist alive. It's over, it's over. He was quite normal before, why did he go crazy today? It's over now. It's really over. He was so frightened that his legs began to tremble. Everyone, please follow me. The manager wanted to cry but had no tears. He just hoped that the boss would give him a lighter punishment because he had worked hard all these years and had not made any mistakes. Private room number 1 is incredibly luxurious. Not only can you eat in it, but there is also space for leisure. There was still some time before the food was served, So everyone was playing billiards or mahjong, but Su Chen didn't like those things, so he just sat aside and played with his phone. Su Chen, the post Wu Jiao posted has received over 3,000 comments. There are also many people posting photos of you getting out of Sister Meng's sports car. Those dirty words are too ugly to listen to. How about you post a wedding photo to shut those people up? The roommate who was playing with his phone with Su Chen looked very angry, and was even more worried that it would affect Su Chen's graduation. Although Su Chen has a backer now, he feels that Su Chen is not the kind of person who will stay at home as a little husband all his life. Su Chen was about to say something when his cell phone rang. It's the professor calling. It's over. The roommate patted Su Chen on the shoulder. This matter must have been reported to Professor Shen. You should explain it to him. Su Chen nodded. As soon as the call was connected, Professor Shen asked angrily, Su Chen, is it true that you are being kept by a rich woman as posted on Chiba? You are the best student I have taught over the years. Although you come from a poor family, you cannot allow yourself to fall. A pleasant and unique smell suddenly penetrated into my nose, and my slender white fingers stretched out in front of me and hooked it. Su Chen raised his head suddenly. Meng Xiao was wearing a pair of flat shoes, and with the sound of his roommates chatting and laughing, he didn't notice when she came over. Give me the phone. As soon as Meng Xiao entered the private room, he heard Su Chen and his roommate talking about Professor Shen. Professor Shen. She smiled, being an old-fashioned person. She was afraid that even if Su Chen said dry his mouth, he would not give up easily. Su Chen obediently handed over the phone. Unexpectedly, after Meng Xiao received the phone, he immediately hung up. Then she took out her cell phone from her bag, found a number in her contacts, and dialed it. Come over for dinner. I've sent you the address. Just a few words and hang up. Su Chen and his roommate looked at each other. In less than half an hour, they saw Professor Shen pushing the door and rushing in wearing slippers. Chapter 10. Your wife is very rich, don't feel bad when you spend money in the future. Aunt. My little aunt. Professor Shen stood in front of Meng Xiao like a child who had done something wrong. Am I not late? Such a scene left Su Chen and his roommates dumbfounded. Their Professor Shen was usually very serious and strict with students like them, but why did he act like this in front of Meng Xiao? It's not late. Meng Xiao poured him a glass of water and asked, I heard you have a student named Su Chen. Professor Shen's attention was on Meng Xiao. He hadn't looked at anyone else since he entered the private room, so much so that he had no idea Su Chen was right next to him. His heart skipped a beat and he shouted, It's all over. Aunt, Su Chen is a good kid. Without any hesitation, Professor Shen defended, I will check this matter thoroughly. Maybe it's just a misunderstanding. After saying that, Professor Shen wiped the sweat from his forehead with his sleeve. I didn't expect this matter to become such a big deal that even my aunt and grandmother were alarmed. He has contacted the moderator of the school forum to delete it, but he still can't stop the students who have saved the video from posting it crazily. It would have been fine if they just posted it on the school forum, but they also posted the video on other video sites. As such, this incident is bound to have an impact on the reputation of Imperial Capital University. At the same time, it will also give those poor students bad ideas. Professor Shen, don't you know who the heroine of this incident is? Meng Xiao curled his lips. Why does Professor Shen feel that there is something wrong with this? He quickly took out his cell phone and found the video. It would have been fine if he hadn't looked at it, but when he did, he was dumbfounded. Aunt Grandma, you. He pointed at the phone screen, then at Meng Xiao, you. You talked for a long time and he didn't know what to say. His aunt and grandmother still have this habit. Professor Shen, didn't you notice who was sitting next to me? Meng Xiao asked again with a smile. Professor Shen suddenly tilted his head. What did he see? He actually saw his good student Su Chen, sitting next to his aunt and grandmother like a good baby. Good evening, Professor. Su Chen pursed his lips. So, Aunt Grandma, is this a misunderstanding? Or is it true? Professor Shen's head was buzzing. Su Chen and I have already obtained our marriage certificate, and we will hold the wedding later. Meng Xiao turned on his phone and showed the marriage certificate to Professor Shen. Now, you should call him Uncle. Su Chen was very scared. My dear, please let Professor Shen call me by my name. He is scared. Professor Shen was his mentor, and it was inappropriate for him to call him Uncle. Okay.
Meng Xiao nodded. Since you don't want him to call you uncle, then don't do that.
Professor Shen picked up the cup of water and drank it carefully.
My student has become my uncle, isn't he that wonderful? Then, Auntie, what should we do about those rumors?
Professor Shen felt a little headache. It's bad for you, Su Chen, and the school's reputation.
And. Anything else? Meng Xiao asked.
Su Chen also became nervous.
Could there be something more important than those things?
It's your grandpa, my aunt. He's in poor health. If he knew about this, would he? He didn't dare to say the rest as it was impolite and he was afraid of being beaten to death. I will teach you well. I will deal with the rumors on the internet.
Meng Xiao was very calm and not anxious at all.
As for my grandfather, I will take Su Chen to see him the day after tomorrow. Hearing this, Su Chen became even more nervous. My wife's mother is no longer with us, and her father cheated on her with a mistress, which means she is left with no parents. Her grandfather is her only relative. Going to meet my wife's grandfather is like an ugly daughter-in-law meeting her parents-in-law. Then I would like to congratulate my aunt and grandmother first. She has finally found true love. Professor Shen was very happy. His aunt had been single for so many years and now she was in her 30s, and finally found her other half. I didn't expect our Professor Shen to be so sweet.
Meng Xiao couldn't help but joke.
These words caused Su Chen's roommates to laugh secretly.
Then Aunt, how are you today?
Professor Shen looked around at the students. If he remembered correctly, they should all be Su Chen's roommates. Thanks to them for taking care of Su Chen during the 4 years of college, so I want to treat them to a meal. Meng Xiao generously stated her purpose, and of course, her gratitude did not stop there. Sister Meng, you are too polite. Su Chen is our friend, and it is our duty to take care of him. My roommates were all embarrassed. I was also very happy. It turns out that Sister Meng is not only beautiful, but also rich and kind. That kid Su Chen finally got his reward after all the suffering he had.
Everyone, please take a seat. Meng Xiao called them and beckoned with his finger.
The waiter waiting at the door came in. If the dishes are not to your liking, we can order more. Don't be embarrassed. They thought, how could the dishes in this dragon feast not be appetizing? Even a glass of plain water tastes sweet. Dishes of food were brought in one after another until the entire table was filled. Looking at those precious ingredients, not only Su Chen was stunned, but his roommates were also stunned. They couldn't imagine how much this table would cost. Meng Xiao tilted her head and whispered in Su Chen's ear, "Husband, you don't know that the dragon feast is my property, do you?" Su Chen was numb. He shook his head. So don't feel bad when your husband spends money in the future. Take today for example, I can earn back what he spent in 2 days.
Meng Xiao couldn't remember how much money he had.
Anyway, she only knew that the money might not be spent in 3 or 4 lifetimes. Wife. Su Chen took a deep breath. Although I don't earn as much as you, I will also work hard. Seeing how sweet the two of them were, their roommates finally felt relieved. After dinner, it was already past 7 in the evening. Thank you all again for taking care of my husband during his 4 years at university. These job offers from different companies have been stamped and signed. They are the positions I have carefully selected for you. You can start working directly after graduation without internship. At the same time, I have purchased a 4-bedroom, 1 living room house for each of you. I will arrange for someone to send the house transfer agreement and keys to the school tomorrow. After saying that, Meng Xiao handed the letter of appointment to Su Chen. Not only Su Chen's roommates, but even Professor Shen was so shocked that they couldn't close their mouths. My aunt's grandmother is still as generous as ever. Professor Shen, you have helped Su Chen a lot in the past 4 years. What do you want? Of course, Meng Xiao didn't forget him either. Professor Shen was extremely happy because he had a share in it. Without thinking, he said his long-coveted goal, "Aunt Grandma, can you give me the bottle of Moutai that you treasure at home?" After saying that, he felt that his appetite had grown a little. But he was really greedy and wanted to taste the taste of that bottle of Moutai. Okay, I'll give it to you, I'll have someone deliver it to your house tomorrow. Meng Xiao felt helpless. Perhaps his students don't know this. Their Professor Shen is a heavy drinker in private. Then you guys sit down for a while. I have something to do. I'll be back soon. After signaling to Su Chen with his eyes that he should leave the next task to him, Meng Xiao stood up and left the private room. The manager had been waiting outside trembling with fear. He led Meng Xiao to the utility room. Turning on the lights, the receptionist who had deliberately made things difficult for Su Chen had been tied up and thrown to the ground, looking quite embarrassed. "Boss, how do we deal with this person?" the manager asked in a low voice. Meng Xiao glanced at the man with cold eyes and said in a cold tone, "Since he is the Hua family's dog, then send him to the Hua family." As for whether he would get a reward or something, she didn't know. On their way back to the private room, Meng Xiao's cell phone suddenly rang. After answering the phone, her face turned very ugly. In the private room, Su Chen was talking to his roommates about future work. Before he could react, Meng Xiao grabbed his hand and ran out, "Go to the hospital." Chapter 11. The grandson-in-law met his grandfather and he almost got angry. Su Chen panicked. "Wife, what happened?" He was worried that his father might have had an accident on the road, and the more he thought about it, the more scared he became. Lao Wang was already waiting at the entrance of Longting Feast, and the car door was open. After getting in the car, Meng Xiao grabbed his cell phone with a panicked look on his face. This was the first time Su Chen saw her like this. Only then did he remember that Professor Shen had said that his wife's grandfather was in poor health. Could it be that the old man knew about the post? "It was my grandfather." Meng Xiao's tone was full of regret. "He knew about the post, I don't know who leaked it to him." A strong murderous intent. "We still have to explain things clearly before letting him in." However, Meng Xiao was not worried about whether his grandfather would like Su Chen. Her grandfather had a unique vision for people and did not agree with her mother marrying that scumbag. But her mother was a love-brained person. "Okay." Su Chen nodded obediently. "I'll go in when my wife calls me." In fact, he thought so too. My wife only has my grandfather as her closest relative now, and nothing can happen to her again. The car quickly arrived at the hospital and a doctor was already waiting at the door. Seeing Meng Xiao getting out of the car, he immediately took her upstairs through the VIP channel. After arriving at the door of the ward, the doctor whispered, "Miss Meng, your grandfather's body cannot withstand any more stimulation." Fortunately, he was sent to us in time. Otherwise, even the best cardiac surgeon in China would be helpless. Meng Xiao nodded, then gently turned the doorknob and went in. The doctor looked at Su Chen and left without saying a word. The ward was soundproofed and Su Chen had no idea what was going on inside. He could only stand against the wall and wait. He thought this process would take a long time, but Meng Xiao came out in less than 20 minutes. "Honey, Grandpa asked you to go in." She grabbed Su Chen's hand and encouraged him, "Don't be nervous." "Not nervous." Su Chen was so nervous that his palms were sweating, and he was afraid of what he would do if he said something wrong and made the old man unhappy. "Come in." Meng Xiao opened the door. After taking a deep breath, Su Chen walked in and gently closed the door. This was the first time he had seen such a luxurious ward. It felt like his wife's home. After turning the corner, Su Chen saw the old man lying on the bed. He was probably in his 70s, with a kind face. "Come over." Meng Hanhai was afraid of scaring the young man, so his voice was much softer than usual. There was a stool next to the bed, and Su Chen went over and sat down. He sat upright and looked very honest. Just after this one meeting, Meng Hanhai felt a little satisfied with his grandson-in-law. He is handsome, tall, fair-skinned and has a good-looking face. "You won't call me?" he asked in mock seriousness. Seeing that the young man was so honest, he inexplicably wanted to tease him. "Grandfather." How to call the old man? Su Chen has been thinking about this question since he came in. After seeing the old man's attitude, his nervousness eased a little and he became a little bolder. Tilder, the old man suddenly smiled and nodded with satisfaction. "I like you very much, not bad, not bad." Su Chen was a little flattered. He never thought that he could please the old man just by calling him Grandpa. "Grandpa, Xiao Xiao is still standing outside. I'll go call her in." There was no place to sit outside, and he couldn't bear it when he thought about his wife who had been busy at the company all afternoon. Meng Hanhai couldn't suppress his smile. The young man was very caring and his granddaughter had good taste. But when Su Chen opened the door of the ward, he found that Meng Xiao was missing. There was no one in the entire corridor, so he had no choice but to go back. "Grandpa, Xiao Xiao must have gone to the bathroom." Su Chen sat down beside the bed again. Perhaps it was the old man's attitude that made him feel a lot more relaxed. Meng Hanhai probably already guessed what his granddaughter was doing when she disappeared. Someone deliberately sent a video to his mobile phone today. If his granddaughter finds out, he will probably be thrown into the high seas to feed sharks. I heard from Xiao Xiao that you haven't graduated yet. Although Meng Hanhai was satisfied with his grandson-in-law, he thought he still needed to know more about him. Su Chen nodded. There is still more than a month. Other students are not as lucky as him, as graduation season is the busiest time. Xiao Xiao said you majored in artificial intelligence. What are your plans after graduation? When asking this question, Meng Hanhai stared into Su Chen's eyes. Su Chen knew that the old man was definitely not just chatting with him. It's reasonable to worry about him. He answered truthfully, Grandpa, I plan to go to Aurora Technology to see if I can apply for a job. Aurora Technology is the largest company in China that masters artificial intelligence technology. Since I was in college, I have dreamed of becoming an artificial intelligence engineer. This dream is quite good. Meng Hanhai deliberately tempted. Our Meng Group also has an artificial intelligence project. Why don't you consider joining our company? This reminded him of the former Mu Anbang. Su Chen shook his head and analyzed seriously. Although our family also has many projects in the field of artificial intelligence technology, there is still a big gap between us and Aurora Technology. If I join Meng's, it will not be of much value to Meng's or to myself. Meng Hanhai never expected that Su Chen would be so bold and not afraid of making him angry. But what Su Chen said was indeed true. A hint of admiration appeared in his eyes. Such qualities are really rare. After Meng Xiao came back, the grandfather and his grandson talked about other things. It was already past 11 o'clock in the evening when the two returned to their villa from the hospital. Meng Xiao was barefoot. She hugged Su Chen's waist, stood on tiptoe and kissed him on the lips. She asked teasingly, Husband, can we take a shower together? Chapter 12, Open the relationship and shut up those red-eyed monsters. 1. Let's take a shower together. Su Chen looked at the sexy nightgown in Meng Xiao's hand, which weighed less than 2 taels of fabric, and swallowed. He had already anticipated that tonight might be a hard night until the second half of the night. But what he didn't expect was that Meng Xiao actually invited him to take a bath together. Okay. Su Chen's face turned red all of a sudden. Sounds a bit exciting. At this moment, every cell in his body seemed to be clamoring for him to go. He picked up Meng Xiao and carried him horizontally, then walked towards the bathroom. Although they had been honest with each other, Su Chen was still very uneasy when Meng Xiao took off all his clothes. His face was so red that it looked like there was fire burning on it. Honey, give me a massage on my shoulders. The smell of shower gel and the alluring voice were teasing Su Chen's nerves crazily. He walked over and put his hands on Meng Xiao's shoulders. Her skin is very white and tender, like a peeled egg. As he rubbed, Su Chen's breathing gradually became rapid. The desire that keeps rising from my lower abdomen is eroding my nerves inch by inch. His hands also began to wander around disobediently. Fortunately, it is summer, otherwise I would catch a cold if I washed like this. He blow-dried Meng Xiao's hair, and it was already past 1 o'clock. Hubby, let's take a rest. Meng Xiao rested her head on Su Chen's arm and hugged his waist. Dad will be here around 8 in the morning. I'll go to the hospital with you to see him and Grandpa. The temperature is set a little low, so you need to cover yourself with a thin blanket at night to avoid feeling cold. Su Chen pulled the quilt behind Meng Xiao, put his arms around her, and closed his eyes. He always had a good sleep, and when he opened his eyes after falling asleep, it was almost 7 o'clock in the morning. There was still some warmth beside me, probably because I had just woken up. After Su Chen went downstairs, he saw Meng Xiao sitting on the sofa in the living room playing with his tablet computer. When I got closer, I realized that the content on the tablet was a previous video about him and her. Honey, how about we register an account on this video website and post some of our daily lives? Meng Xiao is currently watching the most popular video website in China, called Slow Foot. There are all kinds of videos on it. She was not interested in these things before, but now she wants to have some fun. It is also nice to show off her love on it. I always listen to my wife. Su Chen is definitely a slave to his wife. So what should we call ourselves, husband? After obtaining Su Chen's consent, Meng Xiao began to register an account. When it came to naming the account, she asked for his opinion again. Su Chen walked over to Meng Xiao and sat down. After thinking for a while, he came up with a suitable name. Wife, how about calling us Mr. and Mrs. Xiao Chen? He felt that since it was publishing the daily life of two people, the name must contain the identity characteristics of both of them. Well, use this. Soon, the account named Xiao Chen and his wife was registered. Honey, let's take a photo together. Let's just post our first video today. After saying that, Meng Xiao turned on the camera. The camera of the unknown brand mobile phone he used before was very blurry, so Su Chen almost never took photos because the pictures turned out ugly. Come closer and hold me. Meng Xiao tilted his head slightly and placed his head on Su Chen's shoulder. Excluding the marriage certificate photo, this is the first photo of the two of them together. Su Chen thought Meng Xiao would only post that one photo, but he didn't expect that after she selected the first photo, she added another one. The second photo was a screenshot of their electronic marriage certificate, with the ID card portion coded. His wife was about to make her secret public, and Su Chen felt a little secretly delighted. He had never had this feeling before, he couldn't explain it, but he just couldn't help feeling happy. After selecting the photos, Meng Xiao began to edit the text. Hello everyone, we are Xiao Chen and his wife, and we will officially join the Manjia platform from today. We will update our daily life from time to time in the future, and please support us #love#. This was not enough. After the release, Meng Xiao directly purchased a streaming package and pushed it accurately, fearing that others would not know. Hubby. Meng Xiao couldn't help but kiss Su Chen. What kind of gigolo? They are just jealous. When dad recovers, we will hold a wedding to shut those people up. Also, my husband is such a good student. He will definitely make a name for himself in the field of artificial intelligence in the future. Su Chen was deeply moved. After breakfast, Lao Wang drove the two to their hospital. Halfway through the journey, the hospital called Meng Xiao to tell him that the car that went to pick up Su Chen's father had returned, and that there was nothing abnormal with his body along the way. After all the examinations were done in the hospital, the surgery time could be set. Su Chen's father is 61 years old, but he looks even older than Meng Hanhai. Through the glass of the examination room, Meng Xiao felt extremely uncomfortable. After years of hard work and suffering from illness, the old man became dark and thin, with sunken eye sockets, not much different from a mummy. Su Chen's eyes were already red. His father had become like this in less than one semester. He couldn't imagine how painful it would be for him to work every time his father had an attack. It was already noon when all the examinations were completed. Su Dasan had already fallen asleep on the bed, and even when he was asleep, his brows were still furrowed. Hubby, you stay here with Dad. I'm going to go see Grandpa and take care of some things. Thinking that the old man would not wake up for a while, Meng Xiao decided to do that thing first. Okay. Su Chen nodded, go ahead, honey. After Meng Xiao left, Su Dai, who had been sitting aside without saying a word from beginning to end, sat next to Su Chen. Xiao Chen. He sighed heavily. Uncle, I know what you want to say. Looking at his uncle speaking earnestly and with a helpless look on his face, Su Chen immediately guessed what he was thinking. It's okay, Xiao Chen. Su Dai swallowed back what he wanted to say. I think that girl treats you very well, very well, very well. As he spoke, he wanted to cry. He couldn't understand why his elder brother, who had suffered and worked hard for half his life and had never done anything immoral or wrong, had contracted uremia, a fatal disease. Oh my God, don't you have eyes? Su Chen did not explain, and it might be difficult for him to explain it clearly for a while. Uncle, you must have worked hard all the way here. There is a bed in the next room. Go lie down and rest for a while. The inspection reports won't be out until the afternoon. Now that his guarding here, it's time for me to take a rest. Perhaps because he didn't dare to rest along the way, the honest and simple Su Dashan's eyes were blue. After calling home to report that he was safe, Su Chen sat down next to the bed. As soon as I sat down, the phone rang again. It's an unfamiliar number. After answering the call, a familiar voice sounded in my ears. Su Chen, would you please come out and meet me? Chapter 13. Dad and Mom, there's something we have been hiding from you. Hearing Mu Xieshue's voice, Su Chen frowned. He pretended not to hear and asked, excuse me, who are you? While asking this question, he also pressed the record button. Heh.
Mu Xieshua laughed in anger. It's only been a few days, Su Chen, you can't even recognize my voice. I can't tell. Who are you? There was a hint of impatience in Su Chen's voice, as if he would hang up the phone at the next moment. He could now imagine Mu Xieshua's disgusting look with gnashing teeth. I'm Mu Xieshua. I'll send you the meeting address later. If you don't come, you'll have to bear the consequences. She seemed to have planned it all out and was not afraid at all that Su Chen would not go. What are the consequences? Tell me about it. Su Chen sneered. During the 3 months of dating Mu Xieshua, he did not give her any evidence against him. At your own risk. I'd like to see what she can threaten me with. Mu Xieshua had no idea that Su Chen was no longer the love-brained man who would listen to everything she said, and she didn't even know that he had recorded the conversation. You have a younger brother who is in junior high school, right? Or in boarding school, she asked with a smile. The corners of Su Chen's mouth slowly curled up. Their voice was filled with anger. Mu Xieshua, what do you want to do? Hearing his anxiety, Mu Xieshua felt relieved and continued, what if your brother jumps off the building because of the pressure and poverty at home? Su Chen thought Mu Xieshua was just hypocritical and disgusting, but he didn't expect that she was so vicious in her bones. Oh. Although he has a kind heart, he is also not ignorant of fighting back. Okay, you decide the time and place. Su Chen agreed and hung up the phone. Less than 2 minutes after hanging up the phone, Mu Xieshua sent the meeting place. That is a Western restaurant. After hanging up the phone, Su Chen also recorded the screen. After finishing everything, he found a photography blogger in the same city. After explaining clearly what you want, send the address, time and deposit. Su Dasan woke up after sleeping for only over an hour. When he opened his eyes and saw his son, he couldn't stop crying. Su Chen. He grabbed Su Chen's hand, feeling distressed. Dad is a burden to you. He couldn't imagine what his son had done to transfer him to the best hospital in the capital and find a kidney for him so quickly. I heard from the old woman that her son got married. The girl's eldest son is much older than her, but he is very rich. Su Dasan immediately realized that his son sold himself to a rich woman in order to save him, the burdensome father. Dad, you are not a burden. Su Chen looked at the pair of skin-covered hands, his heart aching. It will all pass, don't cry. Seeing his son being so sensible, Su Dasan felt even more upset. He withdrew one hand, reached into the pocket of his hospital gown, and took out a crescent-shaped pendant. Dad, what is this? Su Chen had never seen this thing before and wondered if it was his father's heirloom. Are you taking it out now and wanting him to exchange it for money? But Su Chen guessed wrong. Su Chen, Dad and Mom have been hiding something from you. Su Dasan put the crescent jade pendant into Su Chen's hand. Actually, you are not your child. This sentence made Su Chen's eyes suddenly widen and his brain went blank. He grew up in Daohor village and even now still retains the memory of a certain day when he was 3 years old. No one in the village, not even relatives and friends, has ever said such a thing. Everything Dad said is true. Su Dasan originally wanted to keep this secret to himself forever, but now seeing his son suffering so much, he regretted it and even hated himself. He hated himself for being selfish. The jade pendant was obviously worth a lot of money. If he had told his son about his life experience earlier, his son might have returned to his biological parents now and would not have to suffer so much. You were less than 2 months old at that time, and you were abandoned in the mountains. Su Dashan's eyes were filled with even more heartache when he talked about what happened back then. It was our dog Da Huang who found you. He brought you to me while you were still wrapped in your little blanket and crying like prey. I was so angry at that time. I thought who would be willing to abandon a child to die in the mountains. As he said this, tears welled up in Su Dashan's eyes. Su Chen's head was buzzing, and he threw the jade pendant into the trash can without hesitation. Dad, you and Mom are my only parents. You left me in the mountains to die, which means you didn't want a son like me. After finishing his work, Meng Xiao came back and looked at Meng Hanhai again. He happened to see Su Chen throwing the jade pendant into the trash can through the glass. The door was ajar, and she heard the conversation between the father and son. That jade pendant seems a little familiar. Perhaps because it had been so long, she couldn't quite remember where she had seen him. Then Su Chen, are you and that girl really married? Since his son didn't want to look for his biological parents, Su Dasan respected his decision and didn't mention it again.
While on the way, his wife called him and told him about their son. His son's marriage is a happy event, but he is also worried. With a family like theirs, how could they be worthy of others? If he had to trade his son's dignity for money, he would rather die than get treatment. The door of the ward was gently pushed open and Meng Xiao walked in. Su Dasan stared at her, and he immediately realized that this was that girl. "Hello, Dad. My name is Meng Xiao." Meng Xiao smiled and sat down next to Su Chen. She reached out and interlocked her fingers with Su Chen. "Don't worry, Dad. Su Chen and I are truly in love, and my family likes him very much, too." After she finished speaking, Su Chen nodded. Su Dashan's eyes turned red again. He could see clearly that when the girl said those words, her expression was extremely sincere. Despite his status, she didn't mind calling him Dad. After a long while, he said these words sadly, "Girl, marrying my Xiao Chen is an injustice to you." "No, I'm not wronged." Meng Xiao opened the lunchbox on the table and handed it to Su Chen. "Su Chen has a good character, is knowledgeable, and looks good. I'm very lucky to be able to be his wife." Then she added, "Mrs. Zhang just sent me some porridge. I asked her to bring an extra portion. Husband, please feed Dad." Such a considerate and kind-hearted daughter-in-law made Su Dasan feel that his family was truly blessed. While Su Chen was feeding Su Dasan, Meng Xiao glanced at the trash can. There was nothing inside, as you could tell at a glance. When she saw the pattern on the jade pendant, her eyes narrowed suddenly. "I remember it." But she couldn't understand how Su Chen was abandoned in Dahor village, as the imperial capital was more than 1,000 kilometers away. Meng Xiao couldn't figure it out, and she was too lazy to think about it anymore. Anyway, it was enough for her husband to have her. It was already past 3 in the afternoon when all the inspection reports of Su Dasan came out. The doctor has also completed the evaluation and the surgery can be performed in a week. Su Chen did not go back to the villa with Meng Xiao. Instead, after leaving the hospital, he took a taxi to the address given by Mu Xiaoxue. Chapter 14 Wife, please listen to my explanation. TSK. Mu Xiaoxue looked at Su Chen's current changes and felt uncomfortable. "It's only been a few days. After following my sister, you've changed a lot. He is no longer young and immature, and his every move exudes the scent of male hormones. He seems even more handsome. You asked me to come here today just to talk nonsense." Su Chen didn't even raise his eyelids. Although Mu Xiaoxue had never liked Su Chen, she felt very unhappy that he didn't even want to look at her. "What to drink?" she asked with a smile. Su Chen didn't answer her. Even though they were separated by a table, he was still disgusted. "Still drinking? I feel like vomiting if I don't drink. When we were in love, you were always obedient." Mu Xiaoxue stirred the coffee with a spoon and gritted her teeth secretly. "Are you still angry about the fact that I teased you?" She was stalling for time. "If that's what you called me here to say today, then well, you should have finished it." Su Chen stood up and was about to leave. Mu Xiaoxue would definitely not let him go easily unless she achieved her goal. "Sit down. Have you forgotten what I said to you on the phone before?" Mu Xiaoxue curled her lips. "Su Chen, you have more than one brother, right? Can't bear it anymore?" Su Chen sat back. "What do you want to do?" He began to seduce with words. "Since Mu Xiaoxue asked for it, don't blame him. Give me a kiss and I'll let it go." In the past, Mu Xiaoxue didn't even want Su Chen to touch her. So what if he is handsome? But he still has a shabby smell. Mu Xiaoxue was disgusted by that smell. But now, she inexplicably wanted to violate him and make him kneel in front of her and beg for mercy in pain. So when her father asked her to do this to plot against Su Chen, she agreed without hesitation. "Dream." Su Chen's tone was full of contempt. He disagreed and maintained that attitude. Mu Xiaoxue immediately became furious. "Su Chen, why don't you try it?" Not wanting to look at her disgusting face anymore, Su Chen stood up and left. Mu Xiaoxue was so angry that she almost jumped up when she failed. As soon as Su Chen left the Western restaurant and got into a taxi, he received a message on his mobile phone. That was a video. High definition and clear sound. After reading it, Su Chen sent the promised reward with satisfaction. He expected that Mu Xiaoxue would meet at that restaurant, so he would definitely not be able to get the restaurant's surveillance video. In this case, he is the only one who has to think about it. For those who are professional photographers, as long as they pay enough money, his small requests can be met. If Mu Xiaoxue dares to threaten him with his family, he will not be polite. He will go to the police station tomorrow with the phone recording and video to report the threats and intimidation. He doesn't know what Mu Xiaoxue will face. When I returned to the villa, Meng Xiao was leaning on the sofa in the living room looking at the tablet. Wife, Su Chen picked up the bag in his hand, which contained a little swan cake. But before he could finish his words, he saw a video playing on the tablet in Meng Xiao's hand. The video showed him and Mu Xiaoxue meeting in a Western restaurant. Wife, please listen to my explanation. Su Chen quickly put the bag on the coffee table, sat next to Meng Xiao, grabbed her hand, looking nervous. It would be terrible if my wife misunderstood this. When watching videos on a tablet, it should be a live broadcast. So when he met Mu Xiaoxue, it was broadcast live by someone else. There is no need to think about it. There are not so many coincidences in the world. The person who was doing the live broadcast must have been arranged by Mu Xiaoxue in advance. Bang! The tablet was thrown by Meng Xiao onto the coffee table, making a sound that made Su Chen's heart tremble. Wife! I swear, I have absolutely no regrets towards Mu Xiaoxue. He asked me to meet him today because, well... Su Chen had just begun to explain when he fell backwards. Meng Xiao pushed him down on the sofa, and then pressed her body over him. With his lips blocked, Su Chen was a little confused. Meng Xiao seemed a little angry and she kissed him passionately. When Su Chen began to respond and his body became hot, she pulled away as if as a punishment. Wife! Su Chen moved over and hugged Meng Xiao's waist, resting his head on her chest, his voice sounding aggrieved. Meng Xiao raised his lips to smile evilly, pretending not to understand his plea. Wife, I know I was wrong. Su Chen's face was flushed, his eyes were blurry, and his voice was hoarse and low. He tilted his head slightly and kissed Meng Xiao closely and closely from her collarbone all the way up. After his teasing, Meng Xiao's body began to become hot. But she was still pretending to be serious. What's wrong? Su Chen's hands have begun to become dishonest. Meng Xiao did not stop her, and a faint, charming sound came out of her mouth. A husband shouldn't not say hello to his wife. If something goes wrong, his wife will be sad. Su Chen admitted his mistake very well, and then whispered in her ear, Wife, can your husband carry you upstairs? If it weren't for the servants and Aunt Zhang at home. The sofa is also nice here. Meng Xiao put his arms around Su Chen's neck and let him pick her up. After finishing their busy work, it was already past 8 o'clock in the evening. After my mother passed away, Mu Anbang has been secretly instigating those shareholders to support him to take over. Meng Xiao leaned on Su Chen and spoke coldly. Over the years, he has also arranged for many men to approach me, with the purpose of getting the shares of Meng's in my hands. She guessed that Mu Anbang was behind Su Chen's matter. Wife, I have something to keep today. Su Chen turned on his mobile phone and showed the call recording and video to Meng Xiao. He also guessed Mu Xiaoxue's real purpose this time. After successfully destroying his relationship with Meng Xiao, Mu Anbang could continue to arrange his people to approach Meng Xiao. It turns out my husband is a careful person. Meng Xiao kissed Su Chen on the lips. You should always be on guard against others, my wife. Being praised and rewarded, Su Chen scratched his head with a silly smile. Is my husband on guard against me? Meng Xiao asked with pretended curiosity. What are you protecting your wife from? Su Chen put down his phone, hugged Meng Xiao's waist, and trapped her under him. Are you protecting your wife from eating her husband up completely? The breath of passion lingered in the air again, and as their eyes collided, they began to stir again. So is my husband defensive? Like a dragonfly touching the water, Meng Xiao gave him another kiss with a wicked smile. He was already sensitive at this time, and her kiss made his body even more restless. Of course not. Like an addictive poison, Su Chen felt that he could no longer quit this feeling. I'm hungry. Husband, feed you. No, I want to eat it myself. Chapter 15. My husband doesn't want noodles, so what should he eat? It turned out that she was really hungry. At the dining table, Su Chen sighed again and again. Aunt Zhang is a good cook, but he doesn't have much of an appetite. Did my husband eat out with Mu Xiaoxue? Meng Xiao still had a sly smile on his face at this time. Tonight, just give him a small punishment so that he will remember the consequences of doing this again next time. Wife. Su Chen couldn't do anything about her, so he picked up the bowl and started eating. Har 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 har. Meng Xiao laughed out loud, her husband is so cute. After dinner, the two went to the living room and sat down on the sofa. Turning on the slow pace, Meng Xiao clicked on the message area. There were 99 plus private messages, but she was too lazy to even read them. As for the only comment section for the work, it is estimated that it has also been destroyed. Husband, call the police. She curled her lips, now she could fight back. This incident could be considered as a warning to Mu Anban. If he knew what was good for him and took the shares and didn't cause any more trouble, she could pretend that he didn't exist. If he still wants to seek a sense of existence without knowing whether to live or die. Good. Su Chen took out his cell phone and called the police. After explaining the reason, the police station said that they would send someone to collect evidence from him the next day, and they would arrest the person only if the evidence was confirmed. What about the video, honey? Su Chen asked Meng Xiao for her opinion. Can I post it online? Now those netizens on the internet must be madly calling him a scumbag. He could ignore the gigolos like those who lived off women, but since he was involved with that disgusting woman Mu Xiaoxue, he just wanted to clear himself quickly. At the same time, Meng Xiao might also be affected. What would those people say about her behind her back? They said she was in love and kept a gigolo, got married to him, but the gigolo didn't remember her kindness and was still entangled with his ex-girlfriend. Of course I have to post it, but I have to post this. Meng Xiao opened the album and played the surveillance video of the Western restaurant. If I post my husband's video, it will be a bit troublesome if the other party claims that I took it secretly. Su Chen nodded, indeed. But he was also worried that he might not be able to get the surveillance video, so he kept this trick. It's his wife who has to take action. Soon, the surveillance footage released by Meng Xiao became a hot topic. On the other side, Mu Xiaoxue, who was always keeping an eye on Meng Xiao Su Chen's slow-paced account in the dark, was so angry after seeing the new video that she threw her phone away. Wife Tilder, after the matter was resolved, Su Chen went over and hugged Meng Xiao, his voice soft, as if he was acting coquettishly. I'm hungry again. He was like a poor little puppy, wagging his tail and waiting for his owner's love. Didn't you eat enough just now? Meng Xiao was very surprised and pretended not to understand him. Then I'll ask Aunt Zhang to come back and make you another bowl of noodles. Su Chen knew she did it on purpose. I don't want noodles. He shook his head pitifully. The first time Meng Xiao saw Su Chen acting like a spoiled child to her heart almost melted. So what does my husband want to eat? She asked even though she knew the answer. Then he was picked up by Su Chen. The police arrived very early the next day, a little after 8 o'clock. The person who took the complicated notes was a young police officer. He asked in a serious tone, your name is Su Chen, right? You said Mu Xiaoxue threatened you. Do you have any evidence? Su Chen nodded and turned on the recording on his phone. Officer, this is the content of Mu Xiaoxue's call to me. She threatened me that if I didn't go out to meet her, she would create an accident to kill my brother. After that, Su Chen opened the tablet again and opened the surveillance video that Meng Xiao got yesterday. An officer, this is the surveillance video of the Western restaurant where Mu Xiaoxue and I met. She also threatened me in the restaurant. The young police officer first opened the recording, listened to the recording, and then watched the surveillance video. After getting the certificate, he called the bureau back. The content roughly meant that what Su Chen said was true, and that Mu Xiaoxue could be taken back to the police station for questioning. Honey, I might be a little busy these days. Please tell Dad when you go to the hospital. I'm afraid he might start to think too much. Meng Xiao has packed up and is about to go out. She was wearing a black hip skirt today, paired with a pair of black high heels, and golden earrings made her look capable and noble. Okay, honey. Su Chen was about to go out. He sat up from the sofa and said, honey, remember to eat. Meng Xiao's appetite is not small, but she always forgets to eat when she is busy. If she doesn't eat on time, it will hurt her stomach. After agreeing to him, Meng Xiao entered the garage. She arranged for Lao Wang to take Su Chen to the hospital, so if he wanted to go to the company he would have to drive himself. Sir, you need to get a driver's license. In the car, Lao Wang gave a serious suggestion. First of all, I don't have any ill intentions. Secondly, I don't have any ill intentions. Sir, you are so young, it would be convenient for you to get a driver's license, right? Su Chen nodded. You are right, Lao Wang, but I have to wait until I am done with this busy period. My dad has to go through surgery, I'll graduate soon, and I have some school stuff to deal with. But it won't take long. Lao Wang didn't mention this matter anymore. He thought Su Chen was easy to talk to, so he started chatting with him. The two of them talked about the hospital. Old Wang, if you have anything else to do, please go back first. I will take a taxi to school later. Su Chen probably had to stay with his father in the hospital for a while, as he was afraid that Lao Wang would be delayed if something happened. Sir, I am the lady's full-time driver. I have nothing else to do except picking up and dropping off the lady. I will just wait for you here, sir. The lady said that until her husband gets his driver's license, he will be the one to pick her up and drop her off. In the ward, Sudasan started receiving an for drip early on. His health is so poor that if the areas that are not up to standard are not improved, there will be great risks during the operation. Uncle, what's your bank card number? After talking to Sudasan, Su Chen called Sude outside. Like his family, Sude could only make money by selling mountain products and working on construction sites throughout the year. Now that he was not at home, his aunt had to rely on that little money to make a living. Su Chen, uncle still has some money saved, enough for your aunt to use at home. As soon as Sude heard it, he knew what Su Chen wanted to do, and of course he couldn't take his money. Uncle, you have helped our family a lot over the years. You may have to stay here to take care of my father for a while. Auntie has food to eat at home, but what about my cousins? They need living expenses every week. After saying that, Su Chen sighed, Uncle, although it's not much, it's also a little thought from your nephew, okay. Sude had no choice but to agree. He lied to Su Chen that he had saved money. Even if he did, that little money wouldn't last long. Plus, his wife wasn't in good health and needed to buy medicine every month. This is how miserable people are. After working hard for half a lifetime, they have acquired chronic diseases that cannot be cured and they cannot stop taking medicine. Su Chen transferred 50,000 yuan to Sude, as he was afraid that if he transferred too much, Sude would return the money. Su Chen, this is too much. When Sude saw the message from the bank, he was scared. 50,000 yuan. That's what he could earn in 2 years. Uncle, it's not much. You can use the money first. If you need money in the future, please tell me. Su Chen patted Sude's shoulder, and saw a man in a black suit running towards him. He remembered that person was someone close to the old man. Could it be that something happened with the old man? Su Chen suddenly became nervous. Chapter 16, Just 10 million, is it a lot? Sir, the master wants you to come over. The man in the black suit sounded a little anxious. Yeah. Su Chen nodded, and then said to Sude, Uncle, you go back first, I'll be back soon. The two wards are not far from each other and can be reached in a short walk. Sir, please come in. When he reached the door of the ward, the man in the black suit stopped. The door was soundproofed, so Su Chen couldn't hear whether there was someone else inside. He opened the door gently and walked in. As soon as I entered, I heard a familiar voice. Dad, can you really tolerate that pretty boy marrying Xiao Xiao? Mu Anbang said sarcastically, aren't you afraid that he will wipe out the whole family? What qualifications do you have to criticize others? Meng Hanhai smiled. Mu Anbang wanted to say something when he heard footsteps behind him. He turned around and saw that the person coming was Su Chen, and his eyes were filled with rage. The damn pretty boy was so scheming that not only did he not fall for it, he also sent his precious daughter to the detention center. He could have paid money to bring his daughter out, but the other party didn't give him any room for negotiation, which made him very angry. I call you dad because I really treat you as my dad. I can't bear to see you being deceived by him. Even if I did something wrong, let's make it one thing at a time, okay? Mu Anbang glanced at Su Chen with disdain. Dad, you don't know yet. He is now relying on that face to make Xiao Xiao crazy, and he gives him 10 million pocket money every month. How could he not be angry? Not only did his own daughter cut off ties with him as her biological father, but she was also willing to spend 10 million yuan a month to support a gigolo. It's only 10 million. Is it a lot? Meng Hanhai laughed again, then hooked his finger at Su Chen, grandson-in-law, come to grandpa. Su Chen walked around Mu Anbang, who was extremely angry, and sat down in front of Meng Hanhai's bed. Meng Hanhai grabbed Su Chen's hand and patted it on the back of his hand. "Grandpa hasn't given you a gift yet. Here, take this card. There is 100 million in it. You can buy whatever you want." 100 million. A meeting gift. Damn it. Mu Anbang was so jealous that he almost jumped up. This damn old man treated me differently, right? When he first came to the door, he didn't even have 100 million, let alone 100 million. Not only did she not give him a gift, she also looked down on him in every way. This pretty boy, why? 100 million. Su Chen was shocked by this number. He didn't dare to answer it. If there is to be a gift, it should be given by him, the younger generation, to the elder. Take it. Meng Hanhai's tone did not allow him to refuse. There was no choice but to take the card. His hands were shaking slightly when he took the card. "Dad, if you don't listen to my advice, you will regret it one day." Mu Anbang glared at Su Chen fiercely, then turned and left. His purpose today was to test the old man's opinion, but he didn't expect that the old man also liked that pretty boy. Okay, let us all go against him. "Xiao Chen, I heard your dad is here too." Meng Xiao has already told Meng Hanhai in detail about Su Chen's family affairs. He felt sorry for the child, as he had to bear so much at such a young age. But now, he doesn't have to suffer anymore, and everything will be fine. "Well, my dad has uremia and needs a kidney transplant immediately. Thanks to Xiao Xiao's arrangement, we were able to find a kidney source in such a short time." He could guess that Meng Xiao had to use a lot of connections to find a kidney source in such a short time. "I'm old, and I just want to see my granddaughter happy." Meng Hanhai put his hand on Su Chen's shoulder and looked into his eyes. "Xiao Chen, do you understand what grandpa means?" Su Chen nodded heavily. How could he not understand? "Don't worry, grandpa. I will definitely treat Xiao Xiao well, and only treat her well. I will never let her down in this life." These words made Meng Hanhai laugh happily. The two chatted for a while before he let Su Chen leave. Looking at Su Chen's back, Meng Hanhai sighed. When he saw the video last night, he was somewhat angry, thinking that Su Chen was another scumbag like Mu Anbang. But after he saw the video posted by his granddaughter, he realized that he had wronged Su Chen. To this end, he increased the gift from 10 million to 100 million. Su Chen knew exactly how he got his 100 million yuan gift. After sitting with his father for a while, Su Chen went to school. "You have to pack up your things in the dormitory. You can't just leave them there just because they are not valuable." The car that Lao Wang was driving today was not ostentatious. It was a black Maybach, the cheapest car in Meng Xiao's garage. Even so, when the Maybach stopped at the school gate, it attracted a lot of attention. You say rich people don't treat money as money? They are willing to spend millions to buy a leaky car. Hey, why doesn't this car have a 3-color canopy? TSK. It turns out to be Su Chen. Finally he showed up. "Didn't you say you wanted to be with a rich woman? The great mentor is here, why don't you go and get his advice?" Listening to those sarcastic voices, Su Chen sighed secretly, ignored them and walked into the school. When I returned to the dormitory, my roommates were packing their things. The house that Meng Xiao bought for them has already been transferred, and all the furniture and appliances are available. They don't need to prepare anything else and can just move in directly. Moreover, we live in the same residential complex and on the same floor. We are so happy buddies. We can get together whenever we have time in the future. They had already packed Su Chen's things and were planning on helping to deliver them, but they didn't expect Su Chen to come back by himself. Not only did they want to help Su Chen deliver the things, they also wanted to treat him to a meal. If it weren't for Su Chen, they would not have been able to settle down in the imperial capital and get such good jobs. They were very grateful, and inviting Su Chen to dinner was just the simplest way of expressing their gratitude. They also made up their minds that if Su Chen could use them in the future, they would be loyal to him. "Su Chen, I haven't seen you for a few days. You look so energetic now." His roommates put down what they were doing and went up to tease him. "That's right. Now that I have Sister Meng, my face is rosy. Is your waist okay? You are worrying too much." Su Chen has 8-pack abs. While joking, Su Chen realized that they had packed up all his things. "Su Chen, thank you." After joking around, the dormitory fell silent. "We are all brothers, let's not talk about that."
Su Chen sniffed. The 4 years of college were over, and he was reluctant to leave. It's just that everyone will be busy in the future, but we still have to get together more often. He originally thought that everyone would go their separate ways after graduation, but now that they are all in the imperial capital, there will definitely be many opportunities for them to get together. Of course. The roommates' eyes were red, and they asked again, Su Chen, do you have time tonight? How about we have a meal at a food stall? Su Chen did not agree immediately. He took out his cell phone and was about to call Meng Xiao. Oh, our Su Chen is a henpecked man. The roommates made a fuss for a while, then quickly quieted down. But just as Su Chen opened the contact, Meng Xiao called. Her voice was not right. Hubby, come over right away. Chapter 17. Damn, we are all done. Honey, what's wrong with you? Su Chen became nervous when he heard Meng Xiao's voice. Are you feeling unwell? He was wondering if his wife was so busy that she forgot to eat and had a stomachache, as she had told Aunt Zhang. He had stomachache before, and it was really uncomfortable. There was nothing I could do at that time. I had no money and my family also needed money, so I could only eat less. Later, for the sake of his health, he dared not go hungry again, even if he had to eat 2 white steamed buns for a meal. If you get seriously ill due to hunger, you will have to spend more money on treatment. Honey, I was drugged at the party. Meng Xiao's voice was weak and angry. I'll send you the address, come over quickly. Perhaps the effect of the medicine has taken effect, her voice is trembling slightly. Su Chen had heard such a voice before. Honey, hold on a little longer. Your husband will be here soon. After hanging up the phone, Su Chen rushed out of the dormitory. My roommates were confused. What was going on? Why were they so anxious? Sir, what's the matter? Seeing that something was wrong, Lao Wang asked as soon as Su Chen got in the car. Old Wang, Emperor Club, hurry up. Su Chen clutched the phone tightly, his heart in his throat. Although my wife is a strong woman in her career, her body is still a woman's and her strength is not as good as that of a man. Plus, she was drugged, and that kind of drug would definitely cause her to lose her strength and consciousness. Sir, sit tight. Lao Wang seemed to have guessed something. He stepped on the accelerator and sped towards the Emperor Club. The young lady has been working hard in the business world over the years, and many people have wanted to take advantage of her. Sometimes there are even those who want to get to the top by dirty means, but they were all resolved by the young lady's wit. But this time, I'm afraid the opponent's methods are more advanced than before. Lao Wang drove fast and steadily, and arrived outside the Emperor Club in just over 10 minutes. After getting off the car, Su Chen rushed towards the club without caring about anything else. Sir, who are you looking for? The waiter saw that something was wrong with him and quickly chased after him, trying to stop him. Do you want me to take you there? The people who work here are very discerning, and this is not the first time they have seen someone like this. Take me to this private room. Su Chen turned on his cell phone and showed the waiter the private room where Meng Xiao was. Sir, this private room. The waiter's expression became strange when he saw the room number. The guests in this room are not easy to deal with, you. Before he could finish his words, Su Chen interrupted him, take me there. If he wasn't unfamiliar with the place, he wouldn't have asked someone to lead the way. The waiter was frightened by Su Chen's momentum and swallowed his saliva. He quickly led the way for him, then sir, please follow me. He saw that Su Chen was wearing famous brands and thought that this person must be someone extraordinary. Anyway, he was just leading the way and didn't do anything, so he couldn't take the risk of losing his job. The waiter trotted and brought Su Chen out of the private room. Before he could say anything, he saw Su Chen push open the door and rush in. Who are you? Seeing a stranger suddenly break in, one of the men wearing glasses sitting at the table stood up suddenly. They looked at Su Chen with unfriendly expressions. After glancing at them coldly, Su Chen began to search the private room. Meng Xiao's bag was still on one of the seats. Su Chen recognized it at a glance. It was the bag his wife was carrying when she went out in the morning. Who are you? What do you want to do? One of the men wearing glasses walked towards Su Chen. How dare you barge into Mr. Zhang's drinking party? Are you tired of living? Su Chen pushed him away and ran towards the closed door of the private room. You kid! The man with glasses gritted his teeth, picked up the bottle of wine on the table and rushed towards Su Chen. It seems that you are really tired of living. The man who had been sitting next to the table without saying a word stood up and closed the door of the private room. "Wife! Open the door, I'm coming." Su Chen knocked loudly on the bathroom door. At this moment, he saw through the glass door in front of him that the man with glasses behind him was hitting him on the head with a wine bottle. He dodged and snatched it away, then grabbed whatever was around him and threw it hard at the man with glasses. The man with glasses was unable to dodge and was knocked to the ground. Hearing Su Chen's call outside, the bathroom was opened. At this time, Meng Xiao's face was flushed, his breathing was rapid, and his eyes were blurred. She walked out, leaning against the wall, her body shaky. "Wife!" Su Chen took a few steps over and hugged Meng Xiao in his arms. "Are you the pretty boy that Mr. Meng keeps?" The man named Mr. Zhang looked at Su Chen with a gloomy look. He almost succeeded, but he didn't expect someone to come in and ruin his plan. "I'm his husband." Su Chen hugged Meng Xiao and walked outside. When passing by the table, he also picked up Meng Xiao's bag. "Har!" Mr. Zhang sneered, "Did I let you go?" The man with glasses immediately understood, picked up another wine bottle and blocked Su Chen's way. "Zhongheng." Meng Xiao gritted his teeth, his voice trembling with anger. "Do you believe that I can make your Zhang family disappear in the imperial capital? If the profit from this deal wasn't so huge, she would never have come to this drinking party. I didn't expect that Zhongheng took the initiative to make concessions because he had such an idea in mind. It was because they had been dealing with each other for several years that Meng Xiao chose to trust him. Of course I believe you." Zhongheng's lips curled up into a sinister smile. "It's because I know that if I fail, you will ruin my Zhang family, so I can't let you go." Then, he looked at Su Chen and said, "Little white face, I'll give you some money and you can get out of here immediately, even if nothing happened today. How about that?" Su Chen grabbed a chair, put his arm around Meng Xiao with his other hand, and moved closer to the man with glasses step by step. He looked so fearless that the man with glasses was a little afraid. "What are you hesitating about?" Zhongheng frowned and urged him to take action. "If we don't stop that woman today, we'll both be finished." He had been eyeing Meng Xiao for a long time, until recently when news spread that Meng Xiao had kept a gigolo and they had even obtained a marriage certificate. How could he remain calm? "I've been trying to get familiar with Meng Xiao for several years but haven't found a suitable opportunity. Why should a pretty boy get there first?" The man with glasses became furious when he heard this, because he knew the consequences of offending the Meng family. "Don't blame me, blame yourself for asking for death." He raised the bottle in his hand and threw it at Su Chen. Bang! With a crisp sound, the chair in Su Chen's hand collided with the wine bottle. While he was still confused, Su Chen picked up Meng Xiao, opened the door and ran out. "It's over. Damn it. We are all done." Behind him was Zhongheng's angry voice. "Lao Wang, go to the hospital." After getting in the car, Su Chen hugged Meng Xiao, who had completely lost consciousness, tightly, his hands shaking with worry. "Good." This time, Lao Wang stepped on the accelerator even faster than when he came, and ran through many red lights. After sending Meng Xiao to the hospital and the doctor gave her an infusion to make sure there was no problem, Su Chen took out Meng Xiao's cell phone and found Zhongheng's contact information in her phone address book. Chapter 18. Hubby, you and Aunt Zhang are really talented. Old Wang, you stay here and if the young lady wakes up, tell her that I went to see my dad. After saving Zhongheng's phone number on his own phone, Su Chen was about to leave. It was the first time he was so angry, especially when he saw Meng Xiao staggering out of the bathroom holding onto the wall. He wanted to kill Zhongheng. "Sir, don't be impulsive." Lao Wang was a little worried about Su Chen. Looking at the situation, what else could it be other than to vent the young lady's anger? "Don't worry, Lao Wang. I know my limits." She looked at Meng Xiao who was still sleeping, and her anger grew. "I'll leave this to you first." Lao Wang nodded. Su Chen took a taxi home and changed into light clothes after arriving home. "Then dial that number." The call was answered as soon as it was dialed, and Zhongheng's impatient voice rang out, "Who is it so late?" Hearing his voice, Su Chen's eyes narrowed. "It's me." On the other side, Zhongheng was stunned for a moment before he remembered whose voice it was. "Don't hang up, if you want the Zhang family to be okay, come to this place." After saying that, Su Chen hung up the phone first and sent the address of the villa. Half an hour later, Zhongheng arrived as expected. He drove here alone. "Come in." Su Chen curled his lips and walked in front. Boss Zhang is so brave. You dare to come here alone. Aren't you afraid that I will kill you and no one will know? He was clearly a harmless pretty boy, but his words made Zhang Heng feel cold. You dare? He gritted his teeth. Su Chen sneered and said nothing. Mr. Zhang, please come in. When they reached the door, Su Chen made a gesture of invitation. The lights were on inside, but it was a little quiet. Zhang Heng was a little hesitant, feeling something was wrong. But he didn't dare to gamble. If there was no instruction from Meng Xiao, could Xiao Bailian make the decision? Of course not. Just as Zhang Heng walked into the gate, a hidden stick attacked his head from behind. With a dull thud, Zhang Heng felt his head buzzing. Before he could turn around to see who had hit him, he lost consciousness and fell to the ground. Aunt Zhang then came out from the corner, also holding a baseball bat in her hand. Sir, please go to the hospital to accompany the young lady. Leave the matters here to me. She rubbed her hands and began to take off Zhang Heng's clothes. It was summer, and Zhang Heng was only wearing a short-sleeved shirt. However, in a short period of time, Zhang Ma stripped him down to only a pair of big red shorts. Thank you for your hard work, Aunt Zhang. Su Chen curled up his lips into a wicked smile and took a taxi back to their hospital. When he returned to their hospital, more than 2 hours later, Meng Xiao was still asleep. Sir, you didn't kill that guy, did you? Lao Wang was very curious. His husband seems to be a very calm person. Killing people is against the law, Lao Wang. Su Chen was amused. I just made him pay a small price. Otherwise it would be difficult to vent his anger. Before his wife took action against the Zhang family, he had to vent his anger. Soon, Aunt Zhang sent the video to Su Chen. In the video, Zhang Heng was stripped down to his underwear, and his mother drove him to a pig farm. The kick that Zhang Heng got out of the car was clean and neat. After being kicked out of the car, Zhang Heng rolled on the ground for a few times before he staggered to his feet. Before taking Zhang Heng to the pig farm, Zhang's mother had already fed him the medicine. Zhang Ma knew the owner of the pig farm, and she had already prepared a sow that was in estrus. The scene was horrific. After watching the video, Lao Wang wanted to laugh but held it back. He gave Su Chen a thumbs up. This is even more cruel than killing Zhang Heng. Then I'll go back first, sir. He was not needed here, and staying would only serve as a light bulb, so Lao Wang prepared to go home. Before leaving, he did not forget to say, Sir, call me if you have anything. Good. Su Chen nodded. After Lao Wang left, he crawled into Meng Xiao's bed. After just a few days, he got used to falling asleep with his wife in his arms. My wife is so fragrant and soft that once he gets addicted, he can't quit. The next morning, when Meng Xiao woke up, Su Chen was still asleep. Looking at the handsome face so close to her, she couldn't help but give him a kiss. The light touch of a dragonfly on his lips and the slight movement in his arms woke Su Chen up immediately. Don't make trouble, honey. This is a hospital. Su Chen blushed and reached into the bed to grab the hand that was touching him. What if a nurse comes to check on me? But after just 2 touches, he reacted. If this happened at home, he probably wouldn't hesitate at all. It's still early. The nurse won't be here. Meng Xiao kissed Su Chen's lips and bit them gently. Being teased like this constantly, Su Chen's head was buzzing. Wife, don't. His eyes were full of lust and his voice became hoarse. Then go unlock the door. Meng Xiao obviously didn't want to let him go. Su Chen sighed and had to get up to lock the door. This is too exciting, wife. He crawled back into bed and his hands became wanton. Although the door was locked, Su Chen was still a little nervous. In this tense and exciting dual mood, After feasting, Su Chen first wiped Meng Xiao's body clean before unlocking the ward. Then he went to sit down beside the bed and confessed honestly, Wife, I want to be frank with you. I stole your phone number from your phone last night and asked Zhang Heng to come to my house. Meng Xiao was a little surprised that he would take action against Zhang Heng. I was also very interested, did your husband beat him up? She really wanted to know what her kind husband would be like when he became cruel. I tricked him into my house and knocked him out. Then Aunt Zhang stripped him of his clothes and sent him to the pig farm, where there happened to be a sow in heat. After saying that, Su Chen pursed his lips. It was the first time he did such a thing, and he originally just wanted to beat Zhang Heng up, but after Zhang's mother's suggestion,
he felt that would make Zhang Heng more miserable.
Hubby, you and Aunt Zhang. Meng Xiao gave a thumbs up, you are really talented.
It turns out that her husband and Zhang's mother are both so sinister at heart. I'm really too angry. Su Chen gritted his teeth. Last night, when I saw my wife being schemed against like that by him, I felt so distressed and wanted to chop him to pieces.
Meng Xiao was sure that Su Chen now had her in his heart.
She couldn't help but raise the corners of her mouth.
Hubby, hug me tilde.
Meng Xiao stretched out his hands and immediately received a response. Wife, can you bring someone with you next time you go to a drinking party? Su Chen sighed, I was really scared this time. He couldn't even imagine what would happen if he encountered an accident on the road and was late.
Meng Xiao agreed, okay, I'll listen to my husband.
She used to bring her assistant with her when she went to a drinking party, but this time the assistant had something urgent to do. After completing the formalities and visiting Su Dashan and Meng Hanhai, Lao Wang drove the two of them to the pig farm. Chapter 19, Morning Light Project, she really loves it.
Maybe he was too tired last night, and Zhang Heng hasn't woken up yet.
The pig farm owner poured a basin of water at him, with ice cubes in the water, which was particularly refreshing. Under the strong stimulation, Zhang Heng suddenly opened his eyes. He was tied up and could only struggle frantically.
What did you do to me?
As he spoke, he felt pain all over his body, especially down there. The pain made him gasp. Zhang Heng realized something was wrong, lowered his head and immediately his face turned pale. Su Chen didn't show it to Meng Xiao and asked her to wait there.
Little white face, I'm not done with you, are.
After saying those harsh words, Zhang Heng felt so painful that his soul almost flew out of his body. My wife asked me to inform you that the police will come to pick you up later. Your Zhang family is finished. After saying this, Su Chen left without looking back. There was nothing to do at school. These past 2 days, Su Chen stayed in the hospital with his father during the day and went home to be with his wife at night. As for Meng Hanhai, he returned to his old house 2 days ago after he was no longer in any danger. On this day, just after I finished breakfast in the hospital, my roommates came with a fruit basket and various nutritional supplements.
You little brat, your uncle didn't even tell us he was in the hospital.
The roommates rolled their eyes at Su Chen, lined up to put their things down, and then greeted Su Dashan. I'm just worried that you'll spend too much money. Su Chen looked helpless. Look, you bought so many things. What's the cost? Is it as much as you and Sister Meng gave us? His roommates rolled their eyes at him again. Not wanting to bother with him anymore, a few young men gathered around the bed and started chatting with Su Dashan. They were all talking about some interesting things that happened to Su Chen in school in the past, which made Su Dashan laugh. The young men were very patient and the conversation lasted until the afternoon.
Su Chen, are you going to attend today's graduation party?
It's going to be so lively. Yes. I heard that the shareholders of our school will also participate. I heard that this time the shareholders decided to launch another charity project, whose name I forgot, to help poor students from poor families. Anyway, it will be much more comprehensive than the previous projects. Sister Meng shines on the stage, you don't want to miss it, right?
One of the roommates nudged Su Chen with his arm and made a joke.
They could also guess that the changes in the school's funding projects this time must be related to Su Chen and Sister Meng.
Go, Xiao Chen.
During the few days in the hospital, Su Dashan's face had color and he had gained some weight. He waved at Su Chen, you have been accompanying me in the hospital these days, so you have less time to accompany Xiao Xiao. Although his daughter-in-law didn't say anything, he felt embarrassed. Since we just got married, we must be feeling a little bored. Then uncle, I'm leaving. Su Chen looked at Su Dai. Su Dai nodded and gave him a reassuring look. When they arrived at the school square was already full of people. My roommates had already asked someone to reserve seats for them in advance, and they were in the front row, with an excellent view. After waiting for about half an hour, the party officially began. First there was singing and dancing, and finally the school leaders and shareholders came on stage to speak.
Tonight Meng Xiao is wearing a floor-length fishtail skirt that is covered in sequins.
Her makeup is also particularly warm today, with sexy and bold red lips. She stood on the stage like a glowing mermaid. Su Chen, Sister Meng is so beautiful. I envy you so much that I am about to get red eyes. The roommate sitting next to Su Chen held his hand and shook it. There were many media reporters at tonight's party, and many of them kept scanning Su Chen's direction from time to time. At this time, the microphone was handed to Meng Xiao, and warm applause broke out from the audience. You may have guessed something from the name of this funding project. Yes, it is named after my husband, the Morning Light Project. Morning light is also the dawn. It represents hope, rebirth, and a new beginning. After Meng Xiao finished speaking, thunderous applause broke out from the audience again. At this moment, Su Chen, with red eyes, undoubtedly became the focus of attention. Those media just kept filming. At this time, a reporter suddenly asked, "Mr. Meng, the rumors about you and Xiao Baimian have been on the hot topics of major websites several times recently. Do you have anything to say?" No one expected that the reporter would dare to ask such a question, especially at this time. Unexpectedly, Meng Xiao didn't look angry at all. Instead, she picked up the microphone with a smile, looked at Su Chen tenderly, and called softly, "Husband, come up." When he called out, "Husband," many students present exclaimed in surprise. That look, that tone, she really loves it. Su Chen was so nervous that he was pushed up by his roommates. Those bad guys. Meng Xiao took his hand and walked to the center of the stage. Although there is a big age gap between Su Chen and I, we are very compatible in every way. We got married first and then fell in love. The two of them held hands and had each other in their eyes, which made the audience envious. Meng Xiao continued, "My husband's father will have a kidney transplant in 2 days. We will hold the wedding after he recovers from the surgery. If you are free, you can come and have a drink. There will be too many people and we may not be able to entertain you well. Please bear with us." Not only have they obtained a marriage certificate, they are also going to hold a wedding, and now they are looking at each other lovingly. If this is not true love, what is it? Kiss, 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 kiss. Just like at a wedding, the students in the audience started to make a noise. Everyone opens their cameras, afraid of missing something. With so many people watching, it would be a lie for Su Chen to say he wasn't shy. But he couldn't let his wife take the initiative, so he held Meng Xiao's face and kissed her. The kiss was light and short, but she was the only one in his eyes. "Let's go home." Meng Xiao held Su Chen's hand and was about to leave the stage. "Everyone, have fun tonight." She smiled and winked. Su Chen was so shy that his steps were unsteady, and he did not calm down until he was far away from the party square. Lao Wang was already waiting at the school gate, but there was a man standing at the door of the car. The man was about 1.80 meters tall, with a neat slicked back hair and wearing a well-tailored black suit. Su Chen's man's intuition told him that the man had bad intentions. "When did you come back?" Meng Xiao glanced at the man in the suit. His hands, which were interlocked with Su Chen's, did not let go after seeing his old friend. "Today." Mo Yi looked at Su Chen straight, and his eyes seemed to be able to see through him. "Just go back home, why are you looking for me?" Meng Xiao pushed him away with his hand and was about to take Su Chen into the car. Unexpectedly, Mo Yi blocked the car door with his hands, not letting her get in, and said something even more sinister, "It's so tender, there's nothing to chew, right?" Su Chen heard that it was him. "That's better than the old, tasteless stuff, isn't it?" Meng Xiao retorted without mercy. Mo Yi snorted lightly, his expression very helpless. Su Chen was originally feeling quite happy. Indeed, the man looked to be around 40 years old. But after Mo Yi got in the car, he felt unwell. Chapter 20 Mo Yi, you forget your loyalty for the sake of beauty. Get out of here. Meng Xiao had a cold face and started to chase the person away. Unexpectedly, Mo Yi not only did not get out of the car, but also closed the door. He folded his hands behind his head and leaned back comfortably. "I'm going to stay at your place for a few days." In such a small space, he is like a huge light bulb, emitting strong light. Lao Wang, drive. Knowing how thick-skinned Mo Yi was, Meng Xiao was too lazy to bother with him anymore. The car started and then drove on the road. "Why do you suddenly want to come back?" There was silence in the car for a long time before Meng Xiao asked. Su Chen felt very relieved because his wife had been holding his hand since they got in the car, giving him a sense of security. "You're tired of being abroad, why don't you come back?" There was a hint of rebelliousness in Mo Yi's words. "Do you think I will believe you?" Meng Xiao chuckled softly. "Okay, I can't fool you." Mo Yi tilted his head, feeling helpless. "Your best friend's company has recently introduced a new artificial intelligence technology, and she asked me to come back and be their vice president for half a year. Originally, this kind of thing would not arouse my interest, but a month ago, something happened in my family. The Mo family is not a family in the imperial capital, but in High City, the Mo family is also a top family. When Meng Xiao heard Mo Yi say that something happened at home, a hint of abnormality flashed in his eyes. Is your brother getting married soon? Meng Xiao asked in a roundabout way. The engagement party half a year ago was quite large. Su Chen didn't know much about the affairs of their wealthy family, but from the conversation between his wife and Mo Yi, he could tell that Mo Yi's background was not simple. He's not my brother. When Mo Yi mentioned the word brother, his eyes turned cold. I came back just for this matter. Meng Xiao didn't say anything else. Silence again. Aren't you interested? Finally, Mo Yi lost his patience. Meng Xiao simply closed his eyes and leaned his head against Su Chen. Mo Yi glanced at Su Chen sideways, then turned his head to look out the car window. When they arrived at the villa, before they even entered the house, Meng Xiao informed them, "You can stay for 3 days at most." Su Chen wondered, his wife and Mo Yi should be good friends, so why was she so repulsive to him? He could also sense that Mo Yi had no such thoughts about his wife. There are so many rooms, what's wrong with letting me stay a few more days? This should not be Mo Yi's first time here. He opened the door and walked in with ease. At most I can pay for the room. Aunt Zhang cooks delicious food, I miss that taste. He was just surprised when he heard that Meng Xiao had gotten married to a young man. The young man is quite handsome, and judging by his physique, he should have good physical strength as well. As a good friend of Meng Xiao, he wanted to see if this young man was sincere. At the moment, nothing can be seen. Just 3 days. Meng Xiao didn't want to discuss it with him at all. If you haven't moved out in 3 days, I will have the servants kick you out. After saying that, Meng Xiao pulled Su Chen upstairs. Looking at the backs of the two people, Mo Yi thought in his heart that this woman was ruthless. A guy who forgets his principles for the sake of beauty. After returning to the room, Meng Xiao asked Su Chen to take a shower and change clothes first. She opened the drawer, took out the small box from the innermost part, and put it in a secret place. She would never let Su Chen reveal his identity before finding out the truth. The Mo family has connections in both the black and white worlds in High City, and she is afraid that she will not be able to protect him. While eating, Su Chen found several dishes with a lot of chili peppers on the table. Pickled fish, boiled pork slices, stir-fried chicken gizzards with pickled beans, pickled radish and pork kidneys. They were all spicy and delicious home-cooked dishes. There was no doubt that it was what Mo Yi ordered. His wife has a bad stomach and can't eat spicy food. Mo Yi was not polite either. He ate his meal with big mouthfuls and didn't say a word to Meng Xiao during the whole process. Only after he had eaten 3 bowls of rice did he burp contentedly. "Oh, I've been abroad for 3 years, and I miss Zhang Ma's food so much." There is nothing to criticize about Aunt Zhang's cooking skills. She can make even the most ordinary bowl of noodles very delicious. After wiping the oil stains from his mouth with a tissue, he looked at Meng Xiao meaningfully. "Why are you still sitting here after eating? Are you afraid that I will eat your husband?" Su Chen, who hadn't finished eating yet, was stunned. Then he quickened his pace, stopped eating and stuffed the last bit of rice in the bowl into his mouth. "Wife, I'm done." Mo Yi chuckled. "Who knows if you like men?" Meng Xiao raised an eyebrow. "My husband is so handsome, maybe you are thinking of poaching him." Mo Yi was speechless and went out to digest his food. The next morning, Su Chen went to the hospital. Tomorrow is the day his father will have surgery, and he is afraid that his father will be nervous, so he stays with him all the time. "Xiao Chen, if dad can't get off the operating table, then you will have to work hard to support your mother and 3 brothers. Su Dasan grabbed Su Chen's hand, feeling very uneasy. He knew that he was in poor health and was old, and that surgery was risky, and he might die on the operating table. "Dad, don't say such unlucky words." Su Chen comforted him. "The one who performed the operation on you is the best kidney surgeon in China. They are 90% sure. Dad, your daughter-in-law said that we will hold the wedding after you are better after the operation, and also bring mom and brother over." This was the first time that Su Dasan experienced such a life-and-death matter, and he had many concerns in his heart. It would be a lie to say that he was not afraid. "Xiao Chen, your parents are used to living in the countryside, so they can't adapt to life in a big city. We won't move here. As long as you and Xiao Xiao are happy, your mother and I will be relieved." They are from the countryside, and Meng Xiao is a spoiled young lady. They have different living habits, and living under the same roof, conflicts are bound to arise sooner or later. Su Dasan didn't want the conflict to affect the relationship between his son and daughter-in-law, and he would be reluctant to let them leave the place where they had lived for most of their lives. As for your 3 younger brothers, if they are willing to come here to study, that would definitely be a good idea. Su Dasan had already made up his mind. The educational conditions in big cities are definitely better than where we are. Influenced by their brother Su Chen, the 3 children are all doing well in their studies. If they have a good educational environment, they will definitely have a good future. Yeah. Su Chen sighed in his heart and had to agree, then I'll listen to Dad. But if his parents get a little older, he will have to take over. In the evening, my roommates came again. Su Chen, do you have time to get together with us tonight? One of them will be going to the company tomorrow, and the rest will be busy one after another. I guess if they want to get together in the future, they will have to have time. Go ahead, Su Chen. Daddy has your uncle with him. Su Dasan feels a lot more at ease now. On the contrary, if his son were here with him, he would only be more nervous. Go, Su Chen. I think your father is getting more and more scared the more he sees you here. Su Dai couldn't help laughing at his elder brother. Then Dad, Uncle, I'm going. I'll come back tomorrow morning. After leaving the hospital, Su Chen and his roommates came to their familiar food stall again. While on their way, Su Chen had already informed Meng Xiao that he would be returning home late tonight. This time, everyone was happier than any previous time. Halfway through the meal, Su Chen suddenly noticed that there was someone sitting at one of the tables. The man's back looks familiar. Chapter 21. You seem to have some serious illness. If it weren't for the black suit he was wearing that was out of place, Su Chen wouldn't have noticed it. Plus, he was alone, so he seemed a little lonely. Su Chen, do you know that person? Seeing Su Chen looking over there, his roommates became curious. If someone is wearing a suit, he is either a white-collar executive or a salesperson. If he is alone, he is either heartbroken or unemployed. The roommates speculated quietly. People like this are often seen in food stalls, and they are used to it. You guys drink first. Su Chen picked up a can of beer and walked over. I'll go over and take a look. Mo Yi ordered 2 plates of lamb skewers and a few cans of beer, and drank them alone. Why are you drinking alone here? Su Chen pulled out a chair and sat down opposite him, asking with a smile. Mo Yi raised his eyes and was a little surprised to see Su Chen was also here. None of your business. After replying to him coldly, Mo Yi withdrew his gaze. If you don't want to close it, then don't close it. Su Chen took a sip of beer, stood up and was about to leave. If it weren't for the fact that he is my wife's friend, no one would want to pay attention to him. Sit down. Mo Yi raised his eyelids again and glanced at Su Chen lazily. Who told you to leave? Su Chen tightened his grip on the beer bottle and sat back down. Drink. Mo Yi picked up a bottle of beer, clinked it with Su Chen's beer can, and started drinking it down with one gulp. After taking a small sip, Su Chen smiled and said, drinking too much beer will make your stomach bloated. If you want to get drunk, I'll ask the boss to bring some white wine. He saw that Mo Yi's alcohol tolerance was not bad. He had already finished 3 bottles of wine on the table without even blushing, and his eyes were still very clear. I want you to take care of me. Mo Yi put the half-finished bottle of beer on the table and picked up the lamb skewers to eat. As he ate, his eyes turned red. If you have something on your mind, you can share it with me. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. Su Chen couldn't explain why. It was obvious that this person's attitude towards him was not very good, but he just couldn't feel disgusted. You won't tell your wife either. Mo Yi laughed, swear. Su Chen was too lazy to pay attention to him. You little liar. Mo Yi put the stick on the table with a par sound, and picked up the bottle of wine to drink again. I have a younger brother, but I can't find him. Yesterday Su Chen checked the Haisha Mo family on the internet. It was found that they were connected to both the black and white worlds. It was not an exaggeration to say that they could cover the sky with one hand. In High City, he has almost no rivals and no one dares to provoke him. Mo Yi is the eldest son of the Mo family in High City. After graduating from university, he went abroad to study the world's most advanced artificial intelligence technology. Logically speaking, the Mo family's property should be taken over by him, the eldest son, but his reputation outside is that of a playboy, and he has no interest in the family business at all. Mo Yi's appearance and behavior do make him look like a playboy, but Su Chen always feels that this is just an illusion he uses to cover up his true colors. Isn't your brother at home? Su Chen was puzzled. In the car that night, Mo Yi said that was not his brother, which was really strange. A secret. I won't tell you. Feeling upset, Mo Yi wanted to find someone to talk to, but those were the Mo family's secrets, so he could only keep them in his heart. My younger brother has been sold for 22 years. Even if the Mo family has powerful connections in Haisha, it is difficult to find him. If that damn housekeeper hadn't revealed the truth, I'm afraid I could have kept it a secret forever. I think you have some serious illness. After saying this, Su Chen went back to his roommate. Mo Yi smiled and didn't keep him any longer. However, Su Chen still glanced at Mo Yi from time to time until Mo Yi finished eating and left. The last glass of wine was drunk by several people in one gulp. When Su Chen returned home, Meng Xiao had already taken a shower and was lying on the bed watching a movie. Hubby, why are you back so early? Meng Xiao glanced at the time and it was not yet 8 o'clock. By this calculation, her husband and roommates only had dinner together for less than 2 hours. They said I have a family now and I can't keep my wife waiting for too long. Su Chen smiled wickedly, I'm going to take a shower. Meng Xiao was watching a horror movie. Su Chen admired her very much because he was not at home and she watched most of the movie by herself. He has been afraid of ghosts since he was a child. Especially when he was a kid, he watched a DVD at his neighbor's house. It happened to be a ghost movie called Old Corpse in the Mountain Village. The character Chu Renmai in the movie still haunts him. During that time, he would cover his head with a blanket every night when he slept, with that strange song buzzing in his head. Hubby, my dad is going to have surgery tomorrow, so I won't bother you tonight. After watching the movie, Meng Xiao rested his head on Su Chen's hand and closed his eyes to sleep. Su Chen said, and then went to sleep too. Because his father had to undergo surgery, Su Chen woke up very early. He and Meng Xiao arrived at the hospital at around 6 in the morning. When they arrived at the hospital, Su Dasan said that he fell asleep at around 3 last night and woke up again at around 5. The two were helpless, and there was nothing they could do about the old man's nervousness. After all, he would have to open his stomach to replace a kidney, so he would be lying if he said he wasn't afraid. Su Dashan's surgery was scheduled first, and the doctors arrived at just after 7 o'clock. Dad, don't be afraid. Su Chen and I are waiting for you outside. In order to be with him in the hospital, Meng Xiao arranged his work at the company last night. Daughter-in-law, if you are busy, go ahead and do it. Xiao Chen is here. Su Dasan was so touched that his daughter-in-law was so busy, yet she still came to take care of him, this old man. It's okay, Dad. I've already made arrangements at the company. Meng Xiao calmed him down. Dad, relax. Su Chen held Su Dashan's hand and stayed with him closely. We'll wait for you to come out. Soon, the nurse came and pushed him into the operating room. The wait is long. Su Chen sat quietly outside the operating room and waited for 5 hours. Su Dasan was finally pushed out. After the doctor told Su Chen that the operation was successful, the nurse pushed Su Dasan into the ICU. Su Dasan's condition needs to be observed further, and he can be transferred to the general ward only when his condition stabilizes. Honey, the operation was successful. You can rest assured now. Meng Xiao also breathed a sigh of relief. Thank you, my wife. Su Chen hugged her tightly. If it weren't for my wife, my father. Su Dai was watching this scene from the side and his eyes turned red. That's my dad too. We've been sitting here for so long. Let's go out and take a walk to get some fresh air. They can't see him in the ICU, so there's no point in continuing to sit here. Su Dai didn't want to be a light bulb, so he went back to Su Dashan's ward to rest. After going out, Su Chen called home to report that he was safe. When Su's mother heard the news that the operation was successful, she cried with joy. She had been worried all night, fearing that something might happen to the old man on the operating table. After the operation started, she knelt in the main room, praying for blessings from her ancestors. After they walked outside for a while, Meng Xiao's cell phone rang. After answering the call, she said mysteriously, Honey, we are going to a place now. I want to give you a surprise. Chapter 22 Husband, you have become so indecent now. Don't worry, there is an uncle watching over Su Chen in the hospital. If anything happens, just call him and he will be here anytime.
Meng Xiao did not reveal where he was going throughout the whole process.
The car kept shuttling back and forth on the road, and finally drove further and further off the track. This place is no longer part of the urban area. Su Chen was full of confusion.
Where was his wife taking him?
Lao Wang seemed to know where to go, but he kept it a secret and had no intention of revealing it. He even turned off the navigation. The car drove for about an hour and a half and then slowly drove into a garden. The scenery here is so beautiful that Su Chen had some vague guesses in his mind. It wasn't until the car stopped in front of a manor-style building that he completely verified his guess.
Honey, how is it here? Meng Xiao asked him with a smile. The house is big enough and covers a large area, including a farm, an orchard, and a fish pond.
The neighbors living nearby are also easy to get along with and like rural life. This was specially prepared by her for the two elderly people, and she spent a lot of money to buy it.
Wife, does it cost a lot of money to buy this place?
Su Chen felt very unhappy. His wife had done so many things for him in such a short period of time, and it seemed that he had not made any contribution other than pleasing her in that matter.
1.3 billion.
Meng Xiao didn't want to hide it from Su Chen, so he decided to let him know and accept it slowly.
1.3 billion.
Su Chen opened his lips slightly and couldn't close them for a long time.
Hubby, don't feel bad. Meng Xiao took Su Chen's hand and walked into the manor. My wife is rich, this is nothing.
Su Chen, oh. I forgot my wife is rich, but I still feel complicated. Someone had lived here before, so all the furniture and appliances were there and they were still very new, so there was no need to buy new ones. Those things are all included in the 1.3 billion. After visiting their house, the two went to see the farm and orchard. There are also large areas of vegetables planted on the farm, which are growing very well. It can be seen that the previous owner of the manor took good care of them. There are also many fruits planted in the orchard, but in this season, there are not many kinds of edible fruits. As for the fish pond, it looks like there should be fish in it. But wife. Su Chen was in a dilemma. My father doesn't really want to move here, how about you think of a solution? Of course, he wanted both of his elders to move in so that they could be closer and easier to take care of. But the old man just couldn't let go of the 2 plots of land at home, and he was afraid that he wouldn't know anyone in this new place. That's easy, husband. Why don't we ask my uncle's family to come over as well? Then we can all be together and keep each other company so it won't be boring. In fact, Meng Xiao had already thought about the fact that the old man would be unwilling to move in, and he had also made plans to bring Su Dei's family in as well. She also told him her plan. Honey, look at how big this manor is. If you keep walking along that road outside, there is a vegetable market about 3 miles away. A little further away from the vegetable market is the rental area. There are many office workers who like to buy vegetables there. The fruits and vegetables grown by the neighbors nearby are pesticide-free and are very popular when sold there. Then my parents and my uncle and aunt can grow their own vegetables, fish, shrimp, and fruits to sell. Even though it's just a small business, the annual income is still considerable. After all, prices in the capital are high. Wife, you are so nice. Su Chen hugged Meng Xiao and kissed her fiercely, then whispered in her ear, Hubby, behave well tonight. He had no choice. He had nothing now and could only repay her with his body. Hubby, you've become so indecent now. Meng Xiao's lips curled up in a wicked smile. At first, I was very shy and as stiff as a piece of wood. My wife taught me well. Su Chen's talkativeness became worse and worse. After returning home, Su Chen went to find Zhang Mar. Sir, what's the matter? Aunt Zhang was preparing ingredients for tonight's dinner. With just one glance, she guessed that Su Chen had something to ask. Su Chen stole a glance at Meng Xiao outside, then closed the kitchen door and asked in a low voice, Auntie Zhang, what does my wife like? I want to buy her a gift she likes. He knows that his wife has everything she needs, but the gifts from her husband always have different meanings. Aunt Zhang thought about it and quickly thought of something that her young lady would definitely like. Sir, the young lady has a special room on the 3rd floor that you must have never seen. It is filled with her favorite gadgets. You can secretly take a look when the young lady is not at home and then cater to her preferences. For fear that Meng Xiao, who was sitting in the living room, might hear, Aunt Zhang lowered her voice when she said this. 3rd floor, special room. Su Chen took note of it.
The next day, Meng Xiao went to the company very early. When Su Chen got the chance, he rushed to the third floor, opened the door, and slipped in like a thief. The room was decorated in a very girly way. There were many acrylic boxes on the rows of cabinets against the wall, and inside the boxes were cute little figures. Su Chen knew what those were. He had a roommate who loved these little gadgets. It turns out my wife likes figurines too. My roommate told me that these things are a little expensive. Su Chen looked at them one by one, and he realized that the figures his wife liked were all cute little girls. The figures on these rows of shelves would cost at least millions. But this amount of money is just a drop in the bucket for his wife. When leaving the room, Su Chen closed the door gently. On their way to the hospital to see his father, he began to search for information about figures on the internet. As he watched, he discovered a blogger who was very good at making figures. The other party told him that if he wanted to customize a character, the price would depend on the difficulty of the character. Thinking that his wife liked cute girls, he sent this request. Soon, more than a dozen pictures were sent over. Su Chen was not satisfied, so he decided to design one himself in a style that his wife liked, and then have someone else make it. It's one of a kind designed by him, and my wife will definitely like it when she sees it. After arriving at the hospital, Su Chen could not enter the ICU, but the doctor told him that Su Dasan had no rejection phenomenon and was recovering well. He could be transferred to the general ward after 2 more days of observation. After asking the nurse to convey a message to his father, Su Chen went to the driving school to sign up. As a grown man, he feels a bit embarrassed to always ask Lao Wang to send him off. Once I get my driver's license, it will be more convenient for me to go to work. As for the matter of the manor, Su Chen did not tell Su Dai for the time being, preparing to give them a surprise when the time comes. He hadn't seen Mo Yi for the past 2 days and thought that guy had moved out. But after I returned home from driving school, that familiar figure appeared in the living room again. Come out for a couple of drinks with me. Mo Yi turned his head to look at Su Chen and raised his eyebrows at him. Chapter 23. I have a younger brother, about the same age as you. It's only afternoon now. I'll ask my wife if it's okay. Su Chen did not agree immediately, but took out his cell phone and went outside to call Meng Xiao. Mo Yi's eyes were complicated. Meng Xiao was busy over there, but she still answered Su Chen's call. Honey, is there something wrong? Guessing that Meng Xiao was busy, Su Chen asked directly, Wife, Mo Yi is here, and he asked me to go out for a drink with him. On the other end of the phone, Meng Xiao hesitated. Then he said, well, drink less. This is considered as agreement. Meng Xiao was busy, so he hung up the phone first. I say, you haven't been weaned yet, have you? Mo Yi deliberately made fun of Su Chen. He didn't know why, but he knew some people in the imperial capital, so it was easy to find someone to drink with. But he just wanted to find Su Chen. He felt inexplicably comfortable sitting with him. If that's what you say, then I won't go. Su Chen went to sit on the sofa. Young Master Mo should have no shortage of drinking buddies. These words sound like a threat. But Mo Yi couldn't get angry. Are you going to leave or not? Mo Yi leaned on the sofa with one hand, looking lazy. He was dressed casually today, no longer in the cold and serious black suit that kept strangers away. He has the image of a playboy to begin with, and when he wears casual clothes like this, he looks even less like a good person. No wonder my wife only allowed you to stay for 3 days. Su Chen stood up and followed him. Sir, Master Mo, are you still having dinner at home tonight? Aunt Zhang chased out and asked. Now it's almost time to prepare the ingredients. Auntie Zhang, let's eat outside tonight. Mo Yi reached out and grabbed Su Chen, putting his hand on his shoulder. Okay, Master Mo. Aunt Zhang looked at the 2 men's backs and inexplicably felt that they were like 2 brothers. Strangely enough, she felt that her husband looked a bit like young Master Mo. Well, 2 points like it. Su Chen took Mo Yi's hand off his shoulder with disgust, as he was afraid of being misunderstood. This guy is in his 30s and still has no girlfriend. Maybe others will misunderstand that he likes men. If someone were to take a picture of you, who knows what nonsense they would say. His wife is already busy enough and he doesn't want to add to the trouble. TSK. Mo Yi glanced at Su Chen meaningfully, then got into the car. He drove here by himself today, a black Lamborghini, which was extremely handsome. Su Chen sighed and sat in the passenger seat. Being so flamboyant really suits his identity as a playboy. It was approaching the rush hour and there were a lot of cars on the road, so Moyi almost drove for a while and stopped for a while. Fortunately, he didn't open the convertible, otherwise the two of them would have been watched by others like monkeys. After the sports car drove around several roads in the city, it gradually drove onto an asphalt road with few vehicles. Su Chen has been here. During his freshman year, his roommates dragged him here to climb the mountain. They walked up the winding mountain road and it took about 2 hours to reach the top of the mountain. They spent the night on the top of the mountain, but the sunrise was incredibly beautiful. But his cell phone was so bad at that time that the sunrise he photographed was completely blurry and ugly. Moyi is a very good driver, and every drift and turn is very stable. Despite this, Su Chen was still scared to death. He held onto the seat belt tightly, not daring to let go at all. There are almost no people coming here on normal days, especially in the hot summer. Driving to the top of the mountain consumes a lot of fuel and requires good skills, while walking up there would take half your life. Although it is a scenic spot, there are only a few people here in spring and autumn. After driving around the mountain for more than half an hour, Moyi finally drove to the top of the mountain. It was just when the sun was about to set, and the entire west was red. Looking down, the steel forest stretches endlessly. Su Chen took out his cell phone and took a selfie with the sunset. Then he sent it to Meng Xiao, and sent this message: "Wife, when you are free, let's watch the sunset and sunrise together #kiss#." The road is a bit difficult to drive, but the scenery is worth it. Soon Meng Xiao sent a message back. Phone Ji Hian, husband, I'll ask Lao Wang to pick you up later, take out his car keys and throw them down the mountain. In the office of President Meng Xiao had a sullen face. What was wrong with Mo Yi? She actually took her husband to drink in a place like that. Don't you know how dangerous that road is? It's deadly after drinking. If she had known this, she would not have agreed. Su Chen glanced at Mo Yi and sent another message to Meng Xiao. Wife, he didn't get out of the car with the wine. I guess drinking was an excuse. He brought me here for other purposes. Mo Yi is worried. Su Chen saw it at the food stall that night. Then Mo Yi's phone rang. He glanced at Su Chen before answering the call. Are you here to check on me now? Don't worry, I don't drink. I'll just bring your husband to watch the sunset. Meng Xiao on the other end warned him something, and he put the phone back into his pocket with a helpless expression. If you have something on your mind, you can tell me. You will feel better if you tell me. Su Chen went over, found a clean stone to sit on, and patted the seat next to him. Mo Yi looked at the slowly setting sun, his eyes moved, and then he sat down next to him. I have a younger brother who is about your age. Su Chen didn't answer him, but listened carefully. There were only two people on the top of the mountain. When they were not talking, it was so quiet that only the sound of the wind could be heard. If he hadn't been sold, he would be graduating from college by now. Maybe he would have a career he wanted to pursue, or maybe he would have inherited the family business in place of me, the eldest brother. Listening to Mo Yi's story, Su Chen was a little confused. He began to have doubts in his mind. Could it be that the current second young master of the Mo family was not the real second young master? Outside the school that day, Mo Yi said that he had just returned to China and he should go home. But he didn't go home. Was it because of his brother? But these are none of his business, so he can just guess about them in his mind. Su Chen, I may never find my brother again. It was the first time that Su Chen saw a look of pain on Mo Yi's face, mixed with helplessness and heartache. The trafficker who sold him out was captured by the police and executed by firing squad. Mo Yi pinched his brows with his hands and sighed heavily. If the human trafficker was still alive, he might be able to find some clues. You can think of other ways. Su Chen comforted him. It can be seen that Mo Yi misses his brother very much. I'm just thinking. Mo Yi sighed, but up to now, there was still no clue. There are so many people in China. It is impossible to find all the children who were abducted as children and do blood tests one by one. It would take a long time to find them. Su Chen, do you know? Every time I think about how I gave my love to a fake, I hate him so much that I want to kill him. He has occupied my brother's identity for 22 years, and he shamelessly said that he was a victim because he didn't know about it. What about my brother? I don't know where he is suffering now. The sun was already halfway down, and the sky was dyed crimson. Su Chen turned his head and saw that there seemed to be tears flowing in Mo Yi's eyes. I couldn't help but wonder, have my biological parents ever looked for him? Did they abandon him in the mountains out of necessity? Or was it intentional? If they had to do this, would they be as sad as Mo Yi every day? If they did it on purpose and didn't want him, then why were they so cruel? It was at this sudden moment that the idea of finding his biological parents sprouted in Su Chen's mind. Chapter 24. You didn't treat me like this before you got married. He was thinking, if his parents had no choice but to do so, or if he was abducted, how sad and difficult every day would be for them. But if his parents deliberately didn't want him and cruelly abandoned him in the mountains, then he should just refuse to recognize them and pretend that those two people didn't exist. Why don't you speak? Mo Yi asked him. What? Su Chen shrugged. I am a listener, and I am only responsible for listening. I can't help you with anything else. Can he do what even young Master Mo can't do? 2. Mo Yi sighed. He didn't say anything else afterwards. Until the sun completely set behind the mountain, the sky became dark. Sure enough, I feel much better after saying it out. Mo Yi stood up and returned to his dissolute look. Then go back. I want to go home and have dinner with my wife. It was just past 7 o'clock, and Meng Xiao had just returned home from work, so it was still in time for them to have dinner together. Okay. Mo Yi shook his head speechlessly, and the car lights came on. Get in the car. On their way back, Su Chen called Meng Xiao and said he wanted to go home for dinner together, and then asked John Mar to cook more. Naturally, Mo Yi also went back to eat. He can eat until he is full of food cooked by Aunt Zhang. After returning home, Meng Xiao had already taken a shower and changed into comfortable home clothes. Su Chen went over to massage her shoulders like a lackey. Wife, I've signed up for the driving school today and have completed the physical examination. I can go there to practice driving tomorrow. Because Lao Wang had informed the driving school in advance, everything went smoothly after Su Chen arrived. Well, then my husband has to work harder and get his driver's license as soon as possible. Meng Xiao thought that it would be easy for Su Chen to pass that test, so he was not worried at all. After talking about signing up for the driver's license test, Su Chen talked about another thing. Wife, my brothers are about to have their summer vacation. Can I let my dad move in with me for a few days so I can go home and pick them up? Thinking that my father's health has not fully recovered, I don't plan to let him go back with us. But if I leave my dad here, I'll have to find someone to take care of him temporarily. Meng Xiao put down her phone, hugged Su Chen's arm and leaned against him, saying, Hubby, I want to go back with you. As for Dad, let Aunt Zhang take care of him for a while. Aunt Zhang has a good personality and is kind to everyone. She will definitely get along well with Dad. What? Su Chen was very surprised. Wife, you want to go back with me? He was in a dilemma. Going back to his home is very troublesome, whether by plane or high-speed rail, mainly because he is afraid that Meng Xiao will be too tired. Yes. Meng Xiao nodded seriously. I really want to visit the place where my husband grew up. Of course, it's no problem to stay there for a while. I haven't had a vacation for a long time. Mo Yi was sitting on the other side of the sofa and couldn't help but glance at Meng Xiao. Look. The strong woman who dominated the business world has become a love-brained person. Okay then, honey. Su Chen had no choice but to agree. My second brother will be on summer vacation in half a month, so I have to make travel plans in advance. In the past, when he went home alone, he always took the cheapest green train. I sat there for 2 days and almost broke my waist. But the desire to go home is worth it no matter how tiring it is. Count me in. Mo Yi raised his hand. He now looks like a student who suddenly raises his hand to speak in class. Meng Xiao frowned. Go wherever is cooler. After his wife spoke, Su Chen stopped talking. There's still some time before I take office. Is it not possible for me to go and relax with you guys? Mo Yi is very thick-skinned. You're not looking for anyone? Su Chen asked him. Meng Xiao's eyes moved. Mo Yi is looking for someone? Who? His brother. She became defensive. I wanted to relax and find a place by myself, but she had to follow us and be a light bulb. Meng Xiao, you didn't treat me like this before you got married. Mo Yi pretended to be hurt. I'll just stay away when you kiss and fall asleep. Su Chen pursed his lips and tried to hold back his laughter. You also said that was when I was not married. Meng Xiao didn't even look at him. Now I'm married. The living room became quiet. After a long while, Mo Yi finally asked, "You really don't want me to go?" Su Chen looked at his wife. Meng Xiao said in a cold voice, "No. Such a big thing, the Mo family would definitely not spread it outside. Once it gets out, it will definitely cause big trouble. If Mo Yi follows her and finds any clues, her husband will be in danger. The Mo family is involved in both the black and white worlds, and has many rivals and enemies. Her husband is like a little white rabbit and can't stand all the intrigues. If you don't want to go, then don't go." Mo Yi said this in a low voice, with a very resentful tone. Because he had no shortage of money, Su Dashan's health recovered well and he would soon be discharged from the hospital and go home to recuperate. It was the first time he saw such a big house. It was huge and luxurious, exactly the same as the one he had seen on TV. Su Dai also watched with his eyes wide open, unable to believe it. They thought those commercial houses were already luxurious, but there were even more luxurious ones. "Xiao Chen, how much does a villa like this cost?" Su Dasan had a new understanding of his daughter-in-law's financial resources. "It must be several million, right? Those people from their village who went out to the county to buy houses with down payments said that a commercial house of about 120 square meters would cost about 600,000 yuan, and the villa in front of them had 3 floors, and each floor was much larger than a commercial house, so it would cost several million yuan." Su Chen stretched out 2 fingers. 2 million. Su Dasan was incredulous. "Not as expensive as I thought. But it was still a number he would never be able to earn in his entire life." "Dad, 200 million. Su Chen didn't want to lie to Su Dasan. This was the best villa area in the imperial capital, and every inch of land was worth a lot of money. 200 million, my goodness. Su Dasan covered his chest with his hands. His daughter-in-law's villa cost 200 million yuan. How rich must she be? Su Chen planned to give his father and uncle a surprise tonight, a surprise they couldn't refuse. Meng Xiao came back from the company early. After a 1-month vacation, all their work was arranged today. "Daughter-in-law, my Xiao Chen must have accumulated blessings for several lifetimes to marry you." When Su Dasan saw Meng Xiao, he was extremely excited. "Dad, I am so lucky to meet such a good man like Su Chen." Meng Xiao gave Su Chen a look, then came over and took the wheelchair from his hand, pushed Su Dasan into their house, and left the rest to her. Seeing that his son and younger brother did not come with him, Su Dasan thought of something and asked, "Daughter-in-law, do you have anything to say to me alone? He has lived half his life, how could he not see this?" Chapter 25, Fairy, What a Seductive Fairy. "Dad, wait a minute." Meng Xiao looked over at Su Dai and shouted, "Uncle, come here." Su Dai didn't know why his niece-in-law wanted to ask him to go along, but he still trotted over. Over there, Su Chen was very nervous. It is indeed a little difficult for him to convince them, but if his wife comes, his father and uncle will definitely consider it seriously. "Daughter-in-law, what do you want to tell us?" Su Dasan was very curious, but his son was still far away from him. Meng Xiao sat down and discussed with them face to face, "Dad, Uncle, I want you all to move to the capital. Dad, Mom, Uncle, and Aunt can live here, and my brothers and sisters can go to school here. Is that okay?" The brothers Su Dasan and Su Dai could never have imagined that their son niece-in-law wanted to tell them this. The two didn't know how to answer for a moment, especially Su Dai. "Dad, Uncle, I bought a manor a few days ago. It's very big, with a farm, orchard, and fish pond. Prices in the capital are high, and the fruits and vegetables you usually sell in your hometown can be sold here at double or even triple the price. There is a vegetable market not far from the manor, and you can usually take the things you grow there to sell. I've done some research, and the neighbors also like rural life and are easy to get along with and talk to." After saying that, she looked at the two of them expectantly. The two Su brothers looked at each other with tears in their eyes. They niece-in-law have arranged everything here. "Dad, Uncle, the capital is too far from my hometown. Su Chen might not be able to go home once a year if he is busy. He wants to be filial to his parents, and so do I as his wife. Can you please move here?" The Su brothers almost couldn't hold back their tears when they saw Meng Xiao's sincere eyes. How much good fortune did the Su family accumulate to have such a good son niece-in-law? Okay. Su Dasan nodded. Moved, Dad, move it, move it. I'll move too. Su Dae sniffed. He had been the pillar of the family for half his life, and he had only shed blood but no tears. However, his heart was always soft. Then I'll go tell Su Chen the good news. Meng Xiao quickly put away his smile and walked towards Su Chen, who was outside and had no idea what was going on. Seeing Meng Xiao coming out, Su Chen couldn't wait to ask, "Wife, how is it? Dad just had an operation on such an important organ as his kidney. If he goes home, he will definitely be disobedient and run to the fields again. His mother wasn't in good health, so how could he feel at ease?" Unexpectedly, Meng Xiao shook her head and said, "Hubby, I tried my best, but Dad and Uncle still don't want to go. We can only take time to go back to see them during the New Year and other holidays. Even the daughter-in-law can't persuade him?" Su Chen could only sigh helplessly. "It's okay, wife, they just can't bear to let you go." But Meng Xiao smiled and said the next moment, "Hubby, I lied to you, my father and uncle agreed." So she was lying to him just now? Su Chen was even more helpless. "Okay, my wife, you are so bad. His acting is so good that it doesn't seem like his lying at all. See how I punish you tonight." Su Chen pronounced the word punishment in a particularly sarcastic tone. Oh. Meng Xiao became interested and raised her eyebrows. "Then I want to see how my husband punishes me." At dinner time, Aunt Zhang also sat at the table. In the past, she always ate with other servants. "Aunt Zhang, I'd like you to take good care of Dad while we're away." Meng Xiao was very generous. "When I come back, I'll give each of you a raise." Hearing this, Zhang Ma refused again and again. "Miss, just give them a raise, my salary is already high enough." Her monthly salary is now more than 20,000 yuan, and considering the big red envelopes during festivals and New Year, she can earn nearly 400,000 yuan a year. Apart from her young lady's place, I'm afraid there is no other place that offers such treatment. It's okay. You haven't had a salary increase in 2 years. Meng Xiao was not a stingy person and was very generous to the servants at home. Aunt Zhang was aware of this. Since the young lady had made the decision, she did not continue to refuse. "Dad, if you feel bored, ask Aunt Zhang to take you out for a walk. We will be back in half a month at most," Meng Xiao said. Su Dasan nodded and agreed with a smile. "Okay, daughter-in-law." In the afternoon, after learning that his father and uncle were willing to move to the capital, Su Chen prepared a complete plan for returning home. If your wife is with you, you must not take advantage of her and make her suffer. So he divided the journey home into 3 steps. Step 1, take a plane from the capital to Guangxi Lanling Airport. Step 2, take the high-speed rail from Lanling High-Speed Railway Station to Tinzhou County. Step 3, take a DD car to the village. In the evening, Su Chen packed his luggage by himself. He only brought 3 sets of clothes, and brought 5 sets for Meng Xiao: mosquito repellent, stomach medicine, a laptop, a tablet. He even brought 3 packs of sanitary napkins. Su Chen calculated Meng Xiao's menstrual period and found out it would come in about 3 days after arriving at her hometown. I guess she isn't used to the brands from her hometown, and none of them are so expensive. As for things like face towels, you can buy them when you get home. "Hubby, didn't you say you would punish me tonight?" Meng Xiao began to tease him again, drawing circles on his body with her fingernails. At this time, his skin was extremely sensitive, and after being deliberately teased like this, Su Chen's body temperature suddenly rose. "Wife, we have to take a plane and a high-speed train tomorrow. It will be very tiring. Be good, Tilda." He grabbed Meng Xiao's misbehaving hand and tried to slow down his breathing to calm himself down. "Can you sleep?" Although he caught one, Meng Xiao still had another hand. The other hand started to act dishonestly again. Su Chen took a long breath. Fairy. What a seductive enchantress. After tossing and turning until after midnight, Meng Xiao finally collapsed on Su Chen and fell into a deep sleep. Well. Su Chen sighed helplessly, wiped her body clean, took a shower himself, and then went to bed. Because they booked the flight very early, Su Chen and Meng Xiao got up at just 6 o'clock. Aunt Zhang has already prepared breakfast, which is very rich. After breakfast, the 3 of them set off. At the gate of the villa, Lao Wang had already driven out and was waiting. "Dad, you must listen to Aunt Zhang and take your medicine on time. Don't run around." Before leaving, Su Chen couldn't help but explain again. Su Dasan nodded again and again. The next time they met, it would be time for the family to reunite. There were not many cars on the road so early in the morning, and it didn't take long for Lao Wang to take the three people to the airport. It was Su Chen's first time on a plane, and so was Su Dai. He was curious about everything and looked everywhere. At this time, Su Chen saw a familiar figure in front of him. Chapter 26, Both? Ridiculous. He frowned. He was not allowed to go, but he came here on his own. Meng Xiao looked as if he was facing a formidable enemy. Mo Yi walked towards the two of them with a smile on his face. Oh? What a coincidence. On the same flight. Meng Xiao glanced at him unhappily and was too lazy to speak. You? Su Chen wanted to ask something but was interrupted by Mo Yi. Don't get me wrong, I just want to go to Guangxi to do something. It's just a coincidence that I'm on the same flight as you. The expression on Meng Xiao's face said, do you think I believe it? I can't help it if you don't believe me. Mo Yi shook his head, threw the black bag in his hand over his shoulder, and walked in. Staring at his back, something flashed across Meng Xiao's eyes. Mo Yi is going to Guangxi, has he found out something? After a while on the plane, Meng Xiao took out his mobile phone and sent a message to Su Chen. Since they were sitting in first class, the two of them were not sitting next to each other. Phone Jihian, husband, I actually heard your conversation with Dad in the hospital that day. What do you think about your biological parents? According to Mo Yi's methods, it was only a matter of time before Su Chen's identity was discovered. She wanted to see what Su Chen thought before responding. If her husband doesn't agree, then the Mo family can forget about taking her back. Hearing their voice, Su Chen quickly opened his phone to see who was sending him the message. When he saw it was his wife, he sped up even faster. After seeing the content of the message, I replied without hesitation. A ray of morning light, wife, I want to find them, but I found them, not them finding me. I want to know why they abandoned me on the mountain. If it wasn't their fault, they have been looking for me all these years. I will recognize them and provide for them in their old age. But if they deliberately didn't want me and left me there to die, then I will never recognize them. After reading Su Chen's reply, Meng Xiao started to plan in his mind. At the moment, it seems that Mo Yi really wants to find his younger brother back. Going to Guangxi, I think I could find some clues. But we will have to wait and see what attitude the Mo family couple has. For the Mo family, this matter is a secret and will never be easily known to others. Otherwise, such a big thing would have become a social hotspot long ago, but until now, there has been no news at all. Phone Jihian, hubby, I will help you find it. Actually, I picked up the jade pendant that you threw into the trash can that day. Once I have someone find out where the jade pendant came from, I will be able to find your family. After replying to Su Chen's message, Meng Xiao felt that he should talk to Mo Yi. After finding Mo Yi in her friend list, she sent him a message. Phone Jihian, what are you doing in Guangxi? Tell the truth. #. Although the two of them sometimes disagree on words, they are also very good and trustworthy friends. Soon, Mo Yi replied. Don't get close to me, looking for someone. Meng Xiao curled her lips. It seemed that she guessed right. Mo Yi had indeed found out something and went to Guangxi to look for someone. Phone Jihian, looking for your brother. Don't get close to me, you know it again, want to hear it. Phone Jihian, it's okay if you don't want to say it. As soon as Meng Xiaogang replied to Mo Yi, Su Chen replied to her message. A ray of morning light, thank you, my wife. You are so nice #kiss#. There is news from Mo Yi again. Mo Ari Lousy, I won't tell you the details, for fear that you will be involved in trouble. For some reason, my brother was abducted and sold, and the trafficker was arrested and executed a long time ago. The people I sent out found some information yesterday, so I want to go and confirm it myself. Information? Meng Xiao was very curious about what the news would be, but she didn't ask. She was more concerned about something else now. Phone Jihian, if you find your biological brother, what will you do? Bring him home? After all, you have been separated for so long, there is definitely no affection between you and him. Can you accept him? Can your parents accept him? Mo Yi felt like something was wrong. Meng Xiao had never been so gossipy before. She asked a lot more questions today. But no matter what, Meng Xiao is his friend, and the questions he asked were not unanswerable. Mo Ari Lousy, I only recognize him as my younger brother.
As for my parents, they want both children. Mo Yi got furious when he thought about this. Now his parents had been deceived by that little bastard to the point that they had lost their ability to analyze. Feng Jihian, oh. After replying with such a cold word, Meng Xiao didn't chat with him anymore. She just thought it was ridiculous. Want both? If her husband returned to the Mo family and had no feelings for that couple, would they be able to treat them equally? Definitely not. If that's the case, there's no need to go back and suffer the injustice. Although the Meng family does not have any power in either the black or white world, its foundation is not inferior to that of the Mo family in High City. Money, status, whatever the Mo family can give, she can also give. My brother is good, but my parents are not. Wanting both is too greedy. Having only slept for more than 5 hours last night, and with still about 2 hours to go before arriving at Lanling Airport, Meng Xiao closed his eyes and rested. As for Su Chen, seeing that his wife did not reply to his message, he went to rest. 2 hours passed quickly and I fell asleep. You? After leaving the airport, Su Chen found that Mo Yi had followed him, so he asked in confusion, "You want to come with us?" Mo Yi first glanced at Meng Xiao, then nodded. It was not until he arrived at the high-speed rail station that Su Chen discovered that Mo Yi had also booked the same high-speed train as them, but not in the same carriage. Their high-speed rail is not as comfortable as the plane, and it took more than an hour to arrive. After exiting their high-speed rail station, Mo Yi was about to walk alone. But Meng Xiao stopped him. "Come together, I can give you a clue." These words made Mo Yi stop instantly. He turned around, looked at Meng Xiao, then at Su Chen, as if he was verifying something with his eyes. That look made Su Chen feel a little uneasy. "Are you sure?" Mo Yi was a little bit unconvinced. But when he thought about what Meng Xiao asked on the plane, he felt something was wrong. "You think I would lie to you?" Meng Xiao smiled. Su Chen was very depressed, wondering what the hell were these two talking about. He couldn't understand a thing. The only thing he could understand was that his wife asked Mo Yi to join them. Along the way, Mo Yi's eyes always fell on Su Chen from time to time. Every time Su Chen discovered it, he took it back. Because the road was long, Su Chen paid a high price to find a car to take them to the village. The road was easy to walk on at first, but it became crowded when we reached the town. Today is market day in town, and it is bustling with people. Wow! A 125 with colorful lights flashed past, and 3 boys sat on it. Their hair was yellow, red, green, and green. They were wearing tight pants and big slippers, and looked very cool. Meng Xiao was shocked. Su Chen pinched his brows. How come his wife saw KLF, one of Guangxi's specialties, just when she arrived at her hometown? The next moment, there was a loud noise, and all the cars braked to a sudden stop. Chapter 27 Traffic Jam. Take her to town to eat snail noodles. The 3 energetic guys who were riding the modified 125 motorcycles and spraying the water just now were now lying on the ground with their backs folded. The truck that collided with them was truly an unexpected disaster. Fortunately, the 3 children were fine. They just suffered some injuries and fell to the ground and couldn't get up for the time being. There are many parents here who go out to work when their children are very young. The children are left at home to be taken care of by their grandparents. The elderly have to work and can't take care of them. As a result, those children are left unsupervised and go out to work before finishing junior high school. Su Chen sighed heavily. The final outcome of such children is that they go out to work in factories early, fall in love, get married, and have children early. What he didn't say was that if his parents were older, they wouldn't have as much energy to discipline his younger brothers. Perhaps if they were not disciplined, the younger brothers would become like the 3 children lying on the ground. What about you? Mo Yi suddenly asked in a low voice, "How did you spend your childhood and adolescence?" Su Chen felt more and more that something was wrong with Mo Yi. Not only had he been secretly staring at him all the way, but now he asked such humane questions. Glancing out the window, Mo Yi said, "Anyway, we can't leave for now. Because of the accident just now, the road has been blocked. Until the traffic police come and handle it, it is estimated that the traffic will not be able to pass. This is how it is in a small town. The road is so short that once the cars are stuck, the traffic will be stuck for a long time. I'll tell you next time." Su Chen said something to the driver in the local dialect, and then said to Meng Xiao, "Wife, can we go downstairs to have a walk and eat something? This is where my husband grew up."
Although the town is small and not prosperous, and even looks a bit dirty and messy, Meng Xiao also wants to go down and take a walk. Watching the young people, old people and children coming and going, and listening to words she could not understand, she felt a very different kind of human atmosphere. "Honey, are there any special snacks here?" Meng Xiao was a little excited. "I'm a little hungry." She ordered a meal on the high-speed train, but it didn't seem very tasty. Su Chen was afraid that she would have a stomachache, so he coaxed her into eating half of it. Oh. Su Chen felt that this was a bit difficult to handle. "Wife, we have snail noodles, lao yu noodles, and sour beef intestines, but they all seem a bit spicy. But the non-spicy ones are also delicious. The flavor isn't that. I want to eat, I love to eat." Mo Yi got out of the car with a whoosh, and when he heard that there was something spicy, he instantly became alert. "Su Chen." Su Dei also got out of the car. "Xiao Chen, uncle is going to buy some vegetables, you take your niece-in-law for a walk, we will meet up later." Since it was the first time for his niece-in-law to come, he had to show off his skills and prepare a table of Guangxi cuisine of the highest standard for entertaining guests. "Okay, uncle." Su Chen nodded. "Let's go, husband." Meng Xiao couldn't wait any longer. She had heard of the famous snail rice noodle. Netizens said that it smells bad but tastes good, and once you get addicted, you can't stop. However, it looked like it contained a lot of red chili oil, and she had a bad stomach, so she had never tried it. Su Chen hugged Meng Xiao to prevent her from being touched by people passing by. Now is the time when the crowds begin to disperse. People are hurrying along the road, having bought various things and are going to take the bus back home. "Honey, the fruits here are so cheap." It was the first time Meng Xiao saw such cheap fruits, and many of them looked of good quality. For example, the red-fleshed pitaya, which is slightly bigger than a fist, costs 10 yuan for 3 pounds. There are also some other seasonal fruits, which here will not cost more than 10 yuan per kati, but in the imperial capital, they cost more than 10 or even 20 yuan per kati. Therefore, many office workers who cannot afford fruit will use a more affordable way to supplement vitamins, which is to buy vitamin tablets directly. Yeah. Speaking of fruits, Su Chen was a little proud. Guangxi is a major fruit-producing province in China. "Then hubby, let's buy some when we come back later." Thinking that he was going to pick up his mother and brothers to go to the capital, there was no need to buy any nutritional supplements, so Meng Xiao didn't take anything. But it is never good to go home empty-handed. Okay, I'll listen to my wife." As he spoke, Su Chen took Meng Xiao and Mo Yi into a small alley. As soon as he entered the alley, Meng Xiao smelled a special fragrance. It smells a bit stinky, but also fragrant. Mo Yi moved his nose, he thought it must be delicious. "This is it." Su Chen stopped in front of a store. "This is the best snail noodle shop in our town. It's cheap and tastes authentic." There weren't many customers in the store at this time, but there were many customers inside. The store is small and can probably seat about 20 people at the same time. But the sanitary conditions are very good, and the aunties who cook noodles inside all wear hats and gloves. Su Chen was somewhat worried that his wife would. But he found that his worries were unnecessary because Meng Xiao had already walked in. She has a best friend who loves to go to the alleys to eat those local delicacies. Mo Yi smiled and followed him in. "Wife, do you want to eat?" Seeing Meng Xiao looking at the price list, Su Chen asked in a low voice. In fact, there are only 3 types of noodles on the price list: 7 yuan for 1 liang, 8 yuan for 2 liang, and 9 yuan for 3 liang, and the rest are small ingredients. There are 2 yuan for a braised egg, 2 yuan for a fried egg bigger than your face, 2 yuan for a hot dog, 3 yuan for a fried duck foot, 7 yuan for a tiger skin pig foot. Smelling the tempting aroma, Meng Xiao couldn't help swallowing. "Eat it, but I don't want it spicy or any other toppings. For the sake of your stomach. I like spicy food, fried eggs with duck and pig feet." After saying that, Mo Yi sat down on the seat next to him. Su Chen. Then he placed his order. "Boss, 3 bowls of 200 grams of snail rice noodle, 1 bowl not spicy, 1 bowl spicy, and 1 bowl extremely spicy with fried egg, duck feet and pork feet." After placing your order and scanning the QR code to pay, all you have to do is sit and wait. After seeing him sit down, Mo Yi asked again, "Tell me about your childhood." Meng Xiao rolled his eyes. "Okay." Mo Yi took a pair of disposable chopsticks and started playing with them.
We can talk about it when we have time. After waiting for a while, 3 bowls of snail noodles were ready. Su Chen first brought Meng Xiao's bowl of non-spicy soup, then Mo Yi's, and finally his own. It was Meng Xiao's first time eating it. She smelled it, then tentatively picked up 2 sticks and put them in her mouth. Su Chen looked at her expectantly, not missing any of her little expressions. On the other side, Mo Yi was already gulping down food. "How's it going, wife?" Seeing that Meng Xiao had already finished the first bowl, Su Chen asked. "It's delicious." Meng Xiao gave a thumbs up. "Hubby, you should eat it too." After eating the snail noodles, the 3 of them walked around the town again, bought some fruits and snacks, and went to the supermarket to buy toothpaste, toothbrushes, face towels, and other things. After the tour, the driver called and said the road was open. It takes more than 20 minutes to get from the town to Daohua village, and then you have to take a boat across the river when you reach the ferry. As they got closer, Meng Xiao, who was meeting her mother-in-law for the first time, began to get nervous.